settle down, look at your television, look closely, and try to figure out just what the hell this is. Yeah, right? Woo! I'm glad we're not HD. It's not a flower of womanhood. Keep looking. Not a tumor. No, it might be. All right, time's up. That's all you get. That's all you get. It's Tyra Banks' armpit. Yeah. Thanks for playing, though. Thanks for playing. I was the only one playing, I guess. That picture was recently unearthed by one of our favorite gossip websites, HollywoodTuna.com. They broke this headline-grabbing story. Apparently, Tyra Banks has some nasty-ass tits. Now you know. Blog about it. Now something that's far more pleasant to look at, however, Sarah Lane.
Aw.
There's no way these companies are really
none
shooting
at
for
all.
the Super Bowl. Here, watch this ad that we found online.
Well, howdy there. I'm Border Bob from Border Bob's Used Mobile. My lots are stocked full of border-busting deals on account of the big game this weekend. Why don't you mosey on by and check out a few of our down-home beauties. We got a hot deal on this 97 coupe. Great value, great mileage, a great color to boot. Blue like the open skies. Make this your new border baby. Or check out this new 2004 multi-terrain wagon. We are wheeling and dealing on this one, folks. Brand new engine and AM/FM stereo included. And hold up, are we crazy? This 2002 sport utility vehicle got here just in time for the big game this Sunday. Perfect for tailgating. Used to be owned by a minister and was driven only on Sundays. What a sweet ride on this beauty. Air conditioning included. So come on down and hop the fence to Border Bob's Discount Mobiles. We got ham! We got ham! Visit Border Bob's Discount Mobiles, exit 16 off Interstate 75, right across from Kentucky. Yeehaw!
I mean, I don't want to call out Border Bob, but that does seem
Clearly,
a little...
Clearly they knew that wasn't going to air when they were shooting it.
Sure.
And I don't think Border Bob could afford the Super Bowl time anyway, even with his border-busting deals. Hey, you feel like chatting with us? Of course you do.
It's time for the WAOTS Action News Hour.
5, 4, 3.
Mr. Pereira. Mr. Pereira, wake up. Mr. Pereira. Mr. Pereira, you're on. Mr. Pereira, wake up. Mr. Pereira, we are live. No. Mr. Pereira, we're live. Where are you going? No, son of a bitch. Go to commercial.
Yes, I did.
It happens to be your own...
My own film
movie.
is
So
out on DVD.
What I'm going to do, though...
Oh, okay, what?
I'm going to... well, you get to plug it, but
Okay.
you can only plug it for a certain amount of time, because you know Chris...
Okay, yeah,
So we're going to put 1 minute on the clock.
Okay, I get 1 minute.
And when I say go, you get 1 minute, all
Okay.
right? On your marks, get set, go.
Okay. My Big Fat Independent movie is a comedy in the vein of Scary Movie. If you love indie film like I do, you're going to find tons of jokes about all kinds of inappropriate things. If you like farts, this is like a love letter to independent film in the form of a fart joke. There are 2 editions out right now. There's the R-rated version, but you can also get, I recommend, get the double disc unrated version. It's got tons of special features on it.
45.
And there's 2 commentary tracks, including one where I got the actors completely plastered drunk. So the actors are drunk, talking crap about me. It's awesome. And then there's even a track called the theatrical experience, where you can watch the movie as if you're watching it in a movie theater. So you hear babies crying and bottles and people eating popcorn. It's funny. And then there's even Easter eggs on every single
10 seconds.
and every
9,
single page
7,
of the
6,
you just go
5,
down and to the right, down
4,
to the right. You'll find all the
3,
Easter eggs.
2,
You got to get it. It's my
1,
movie.
and time! That was amazing.
that
Give
good?
it up for Chris. You are such a good talker.
Thank you very much.
You got another clap in the background there. Someone's like, yeah, it's pretty good.
Get my movie. It doesn't suck.
Aw, Chris.
That's the best I can say about
You're
it.
the best, man. Good job.
Cool. Thank you.
Very good work. You can visit filmthread.com or chrisgore.com. Go on. Make your vote count.
This Sunday, football season officially comes to an end, forcing millions to begin thinking about their wives, children, their jobs, and the sweet release of booze-fueled depression. But before all that, we've got our resident handicapper, Jimmy the Geek, live from Super Bowl town itself, Detroit. Jimmy, how are you, my friend?
Brandy, I'm glowing like the metal on the edge of a knife, baby.
I will bet you are, my friend, though that phrase sounds familiar. Obviously, it's a big week for you, and you've made it to Detroit for the big game.
That's right, baby. Move over, Teddy Nugent. There's a new Motor City Madman in town. It's Jimmy.
Okay, let's move on to the big game. I understand the tag of the show put a little wrinkle into your segment this week. Is that right?
Nice setup, baby. You're really getting the hang of this TV thing there, Brandy. Okay, AOTS gave yours truly 1,000 simoleons to bet on the big game, and just to make sure it didn't all wind up in a stripper's garter, they sent the camera crew to watch me place the bet. Hey, fellas, can we roll that videotape there? Las Vegas Tilton Sportsbook, baby. The only place to place a bet. Here we go. Every good handicapper knows it's all about the research, baby. All about the research. I got the knowledge, I got the money. Let's go, baby. Bob, I'm only giving this money to you right now for safekeeping, but I'm coming back for it. Here's what I want. Make it happen for me. Nothing gets me hotter than betting a G on the big game, baby. Except for that little cocktail waitress over there. Excuse me. And Brandy, as for that cocktail waitress, the last thing she served was breakfast. To me. The next day.
I don't doubt that for a second. Now, the moment we've been waiting for. What do you got for us, Jimmy?
All right, here we go, baby. Let's start with the little guys talking about my prop bets. Here's two we'll know about before I even get a buzz on. Will Ben Roethlisberger complete his first pass? Brandy, $50 says he will. And along the same lines, will Jerome Bettis' first rushing attempt be over or under 2.5 yards? $50 says under, Brandy.
All right, Jimmy, only $900 to go.
Brandy, easy. You sound like my first ex's alimony attorney. Moving on, babe. Will Joe Jovovich have over 25.5 receiving yards? Brandy, putting that bet in front of me is like putting soft dirt in front of a gopher. He's a veteran, he's a gamer, and $100 says he's a lock to go over. All right, next up, who will score the first TD of the game, Brandy? We played the odds here a little bit. $50 on Big Ben Roethlisberger at 18-1. I know it's a long shot, but it's got legs, and those are the type we like.
Jimmy, I have learned never to question your logic. What else, buddy?
All right, here's where the fun starts, Brandy. Who will score more points? Seattle and Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl, or Kobe Bryant against New Orleans on Saturday? Kobe's getting 6.5. He's been hotter than my second wife's wedding ring, and he's playing New Orleans. Drop 100 on it, babe, and don't even think about it.
Bringing a little basketball into the mix. All right, Jimmy, what else?
All right, if you like that, you're going to love this one, baby. Who will have more? Hines Ward receiving yards or Tiger Woods fourth round score on Sunday? Brandy, put $50 on Hines Ward, and I'll tell you why. Tiger is coming off his first win of the year. He plays well overseas, and he eats up Sundays like a fat kid at Friendly's. The lower his score, the better our odds, baby.
Jimmy, you really can bet anything out in Vegas, can't you?
I'll tell you what, Brandy. Last week, I bet $200 that one of your kidneys would fail by the end of this year, and I'm banking that low-carb diet of yours is going to do the trick by Thanksgiving, babe.
Unfortunately, none of this surprises me anymore. Finish up, Jimmy.
All right, let's get down to brass tacks, baby. My research indicates that Pittsburgh will prove the experts right, and there's no surprise there, but picking the exact score is a horse of a different color, baby. Throw $50 on the Steelers to score 30 points at 20-1 odds, and take $50 on the Seahawks to score 17 at 12-1 odds. And that being the case, we save our big boy for last, take $500, put it down on Pittsburgh, give him 4 points, the Vince Lombardi trophy goes back to Pittsburgh, and me and Brendan go on a stripper binge, the likes of which the world has never seen, baby.
Jimmy, I'm sure they told you that any money we win is being given to charity.
Charity. Good one, Brandy. You're funnier than a three-legged dog trying to bury a bone on a frozen pond.
And Jimmy, from you, I will take that as a compliment.
You got it, Brandy, baby. And one more thing, if you want more on my pick, exclusive video of me in Vegas, and a hell of a lot more, head to attackoftheshow.com, Brandy. They got a whole freaking page for me.
Well, wonders will never cease. Enjoy the game, Jimmy.
You got it.
Live from the News Center 3000, it's time for the WAOTS Action News Hour.
Kevin, wait up a second.
Brandon, what's going on, man? How's the chopper treating you?
It's okay. What do you think about Sarah?
What, as a lady news anchor? She's never gonna make it. Don't worry.
No. Has she ever said anything weird to you?
There's this one time she said, look, I deserve equal pay for equal work.
No, I mean, has she ever done anything to, make you feel uncomfortable?
What are you talking about, Brendan?
Whoopsie! Brennan, I seem to have dropped my pencil. Could you pick it up for me?
Sure thing, Sarah.
Damn, that's one fine ass.
She didn't say anything.
I said, damn! That is one fine ass! That's right, baby. Shake it! Shake it!
Little Will's Discount Warehouse is open for business. What's up, y'all? Welcome to Little Will's Discount Warehouse. Today's special, gaming laptops. As you can see, I got 3 hot products. I gotta move these fast, yo. Bam! Exhibit 1, the Voodoo PC Envy. This thing has 4 key things any gamer needs in a gaming laptop. Fast processor, mad graphics, and 2 things I already forgot about. Check out the bullet points. Let's talk price. These motherfuckers are going to charge you $3,800 for this baby on the internet. I'll throw it to you right now for $100 or $300 in food stamps. This is ludicrous, son. The Dell XPS M170. It's got a gigabyte of RAM, a big-ass hard drive for all that nasty-ass porn, and some other good stuff in the back of the box. Check out the bullet points. Those bitches down in Texas want to charge you $2,800 for this. I give it to you right now for $150. That's a steal. Literally. This shit is fabulous. It's ABS mayhem. It's mad light. It's also super inexpensive. But hey, at Lil Will's Discount Warehouse, inexpensive ain't even in our vocabulary, dog. Check out the bullet points. They want $2,400 for this, son. And I give it to you right now for $100. Plus, I'll throw in some bootleg DVDs. You heard? That's it from Lil Will's Discount Warehouse, where you can find top-shelf products at off-the-truck prices. And I hear my theme music. Until next time, I gotta go.
Wow.
Yeah, that was good times. Good times.
Impressive, Will.
Yeah, you know.
Is it true a passerby got a shrapnel of tech spec in their ass?
Just a little bit, yeah.
Wow, you got to watch out for those bullet points.
Hey, those bullet points, man, they're flying, ricocheting all over the place. It's off the hook.
A bunch of laptops in the back of the truck. I get that. Insane deals. I got it, too. But which one do I need to get?
I would go for the Voodoo. The Voodoo Envy has 2 gigs of RAM, 256 megabyte graphics card, super fast. It's awesome. 17-inch screen.
No, it looks nice. But why this one over any other particular model there? Is it because you get a little more bang for your buck? I mean, is this the most expensive one here?
It's the most expensive one, but it also actually performed the best on my nerdy benchmark.
As it should. Which was Call of Duty for hours on end.
Call of Duty over and over and over again.
Good
exactly,
stuff.
yeah.
Do we have the bullet points online?
The bullet points are online. Yeah, for links to more information, people can go to attackoftheshow.com and check it out.
Perfect.
Yeah. Awesome. So what do you think? You gonna buy this one?
No, I'm going to steal this one, actually.
Oh, okay.
That's all right. You got the show. You're
all right. I'll just have to do my bit for the movement, of course. Now, stick around. Sarah has some gems of the internet for your approval. And chemist Ted Bro brings us the Absinthe. be rude not to drink some, don't you think?
The WAOTS Action News Hour.
Will, is there anything wrong? We only have 3 minutes for this run-through.
I'm not reading this.
Is there a writer on the floor?
What's up, buddy?
Y'all, I've got some weather up in this piece. You heard?
Yeah, that's good, right?
What the is that?
That's the copy for the read, just trying to capture your voice and...
Oh, that's my voice. When have you ever heard me talk like that?
Well, you know, you have, like, an edge and, like, attitude, and so...
Yo, this rain is a mother son. That's edge. Oh, let me guess. Is it also urban? Tell me it's urban. Say it.
Well, it's kind of like...
If you say yes, I will make you eat my partly cloudy icons. Know this.
Look, Will, I used to, you know, I understand, okay? I used to write for Al Roker. I used to write for Brian Gumble, you know, and I understand the whole plight of the...
The what?
Of the weatherman.
I will end you.
Oh, okay, just read it how you want to read it, buddy. I'll be over here.
Roker.
Attack of the show. I'm Kevin Pereira, and today we've got a. You know what? Can we stop? I mean, let's just forget this. It's not right. Seriously, put it down. Put that stuff down. I don't know who we're kidding here. I don't know who I'm kidding. This just doesn't feel right anymore. I'm sorry, guys. This whole feed at the top of the show crap. It's not working. No, don't worry. I'm sorry. It's not the feed's fault, and it's not your fault at all, Sarah. It's nobody's fault, really. It's just, you know, we've tried to mix things up here on the show a bit, and quite honestly, we've failed. You know, we failed ourselves, and more importantly, we failed you, the viewers. We forgot what made the top of this show so amazing. I think it's painfully obvious what's missing here. It's home base. You know, I've tried to pretend like everything's okay, you know, but I just can't stop thinking or dreaming about that fateful day when I told home base that we didn't want it anymore. We can't be together. Stop looking at me like that. I want you out of my life. Just go. Get out of here. Go on. You know, for months now, I've feigned comfort on that damn devil couch, but during each and every commercial break, I find myself loading up MySpace, frantically refreshing home base's profile just to see how happy she is without me. It's funny. I used to be in her top 8. You know, there were so many memories of us and her photos, that Depeche Mode concert at the Roxy, or our trip to Cabo, our first kiss. I laid in bed for a week straight when I found out that she photoshopped me for some trashy leopard skin swivel chair from IKEA. It was clear to me then that, you know, home base moved on, but I didn't. We didn't. Attack of the Show didn't. And I think it's time that we stop lying to ourselves and lying to you, the viewers. We need to get back to what made this show spectacular. We need to bring back what made this show so amazing. So, guys, I don't know if we can. Let's just move the plasma out of the way. Let's bring back home base.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Can we just do it? Can we just bring back home base?
Sure we can, Sarah.
We can?
We can do what we want to do. Yeah! It's going to be back in its old home later on the show. for home movies and Dethklok creator Brendan Small.
Yeah.
So you can discover what makes, what it takes to make a successful Adult Swim series.
Sure.
Number is 800-839-7880, and you can email us through our web form at tagoftheshow.com/askus. And you can chat with us as well. It's chat.g4tv.com.
That's right. Coming up after the break.
Is way across the country.
Neither of them beat up your honor student. It's Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
I probably tried to ask your honor student out on a date, and she turned me down.
Oh.
Welcome back to X-Play, where defeat is just a state of being.
We have our last review of the show, and hey, why not end the show on a downer by looking at a game based on a horrible American military disaster?
Yes, Black Hawk Down, while an example of great American heroism, is not really regarded as a military triumph.
But that didn't stop the Delta Force folks from cranking out an Xbox game based on those events.
Here's a review of Delta Force Black Hawk Down for the Xbox.
Mohammed Farahadid, militia leader of the Handbrake clan, orders an attack on a UN relief shipment, killing 24 Pakistani soldiers. In response to the continued Handbrake threat, Task Force Ranger is sent to Mogadishu with the sole purpose of capturing Adid. This force is comprised of U.S. Army Rangers and operators from the 1st Special Forces Operational Detachment, Delta, an elite fighting unit also known as Delta Force.
And that's pretty much where Delta Force Black Hawk Down drops us off. Although it's inspired by those events in Somalia, this Xbox title steers away from the gritty narrative found in the book and the movie. Instead, it lets game players get down to what is truly important, blowing things up. If this game sounds slightly familiar, that's because it was released on the PC 2 years ago. Back then, the object was to lead a squad of Delta Force operatives to the virtual desert. 2 years later, the objective is exactly the same. Gameplay still consists of 16 peacekeeping missions that play out like a glorified shooting gallery. As your enemies mindlessly run at you, your Delta Force squadron will keep the peace by killing them dead. You'll then take a few steps forward, rinse off the blood, and repeat. But when it comes to difficulty, this title is actually harder than an alligator's teeth. If you like your character getting killed repeatedly, you're gonna love Black Hawk Down. Because, believe me, it's gonna happen a lot. The controls don't make things any easier. Aiming is very clumsy unless you use the auto-aim feature, which can feel a little cheap. The AI also isn't anything to write home about. You'd think that your squad would help you out a little more and act like a, Delta Force operative?
Any intel before the...
Guess not. Otherwise, Black Hawk Down includes everything you'd expect from a military shooter. You get to blast economy-sized holes in your enemies. You get to run through the obligatory green mission.
You have the green light.
And the fast-paced action is absolutely to die for. The high resolution does make the 3D environments look crisp, but the presentation still pales in comparison to the PC version. Despite the high frame rate, you'll still find yourself squinting into the virtual horizon as you try to figure out which people you can kill and which people you can't. On the other hand, the different environments do look sufficiently ravaged by war, and while some of them offer great destructibility, others offer none whatsoever. There are a few different vehicles in the game, none of which you can actually drive. Instead, you get to hitch a ride and do a little more peacekeeping. All in all, this game reminds us that war is hell. And that there's nothing funny about walking through a minefield. Well, almost nothing. Delta Force Black Hawk Down does a few things well, but not nearly as well as the many other military shooters out there. We give it 3 casualties out of 5. All right, so get this. I'm not a big fan of the movie Black Hawk Down. I think it's pretty much like a racist zombie movie because there's absolutely no rationale for the behaviors of the Somalis in the movie.
From an American perspective.
Right. Now, Resident Evil 5, the makers of it, said they were inspired by the movie Black Hawk Down. So
Creepy.
pretty much, yeah, hey, synergy, something.
You can see the future, maybe.
Ooh,
And we have
that's
just
not good.
enough time for viewer mail. Did you see that in the future?
Yeah, that was good. Today's email is from Mechanical Pixie. The Pixie writes, personally, I'm a huge anime fan.
has a stand-alone expansion pack. Here's a review of Ghost Recon 2 Summit Strike for the Xbox. War. To some people, it means escalating gas prices. To others, it means lucrative, non-competitive contracts. Well, for Tom Clancy, it's like a machine for printing money, which is why he released an action-packed add-on for Ghost Recon 2. Just add a colon, the word Summit Strike, 11 new missions, and you've got a squad-based shooter that'll disappear from the shelves faster than Dignity from Courtney Love. Welcome to the winter wonderland of Kazakhstan. You and your Special Forces team are sent in to assassinate the terrorist leader, Assad Rail. He enjoys long walks on the beach, and his hobbies include releasing chemical weapons, blowing up buildings, and stamp collecting. The game puts you in command of a Special Forces team referred to as the Ghosts. After you get briefed on your mission objective, you are thrown into the field to take out every enemy by any means necessary. Not exactly reinventing the wheel, but kicking ass and taking names is the reason you laid down your hard-earned ducats in the first place.
Fall in on me!
As leader of the pack, you can command your troops to carry out simple orders like laying down suppressing fire, or attacking a specific target. But the plus and minus of this game is the reality factor. When you and your troops are out on the field, if you're hit about 3 or 4 times, you're toast. You can heal the wounds of your squad with medic kits, but if they take too much damage, well, sucks to be that guy. But they do try their best to hold their own. Unlike most other shooter games, when your whole body seems to be made of Kevlar. So some of you might be asking, well, Morgan, why don't you just not get shot? Have you ever played a video game before? And if not, why are you watching this show? The levels are huge and beautifully rendered, and the enemies use it to their advantage in the best way. They can use their camo and hide in the bushes, or they make their presence as obvious as possible. What do they care? They are bigger than you. Well, we can fix that. But while the missions are fun, the biggest draw of the game will have to be the expanded multiplayer game. With up to 25 different modes to choose from, this will keep your trigger finger happy for months and months. Now, if you like your shoot-'em-ups more on the fantasy level a la Doom 3, the strategic squad-based realism may be a bit too much for you. Even though the game is a whole lot of been there, done that, bought the camouflage t-shirt, for a modest price, this is an addition that hardcore fans shouldn't live without. We give Ghost Recon 2 Summit Strike a 4 out of 5.
Oh, Tom Clancy, you had us at Ding Chavez.
Of course, while the masses were clamoring for more Ghost Recon 2, not that many people were clamoring for more TAC games.
The first 2 TAC games were funny. Well, they're well written, but they're just okay platformers. But we never thought they merited another sequel.
Then we looked at sales records for games in 2005 and realized that of the bestsellers, only one game, God of War, wasn't a sequel.
In other words, love them or hate them, developers make more money of returning franchises than they do off new ones.
Hopefully.
Every year, Indianapolis hosts Gen Con, one of the biggest role-playing and fantasy conventions in the world.
There's sure to be some sort of apocalyptic struggle between the nerds and the IndyCar fans at some point, but at least this year, the dorks, the geeks, and the people dressed as elves were able to roam freely without getting beaten up by people wearing beer hats.
So we sent our own Adam Sessler.
That's me.
To Gen Con to inspect the nerdery in closer detail.
My life will never be the same.
Really?
No.
Gen Con. No, you might think it's about the Geneva Convention, but the rights of prisoners aren't on discussion here. Instead, it's about good old role-playing. This is the crossroads where Dungeons & Dragons meets fantasy, where the unwashed meets the untethered, and all of it in outlandish costumes. All right, I'm with the guy in the top hat.
I am Bash the Stampede.
And you have donuts. We're here with Kendall at the Grey Wizard. How are you doing?
Well, actually, my name is Randall.
What's the greatest deal ever?
All right, this weekend, and only this weekend here at Gen Con, we are redoing our book, The Book of the Unliving, and today you can pre-order the book for $45, and that includes the shipping and handling. With that, we throw in an old copy for you to take home and familiarize yourself with the system, and you get the Codex of Immortals and the Magician's Companion absolutely free, so 4 books for the price of 1.
My God, Jimmy, your time machine worked.
The future's filled with nerds. Oh, look at those dice. Well, what we have here are what we call polyhedral dice. And the reason we call them polyhedral is because there are a number of different polyhedral shapes.
You're plantation owners, and you're trying to build a plant crop. There are 5 different crops like potatoes, sugarcane, chili peppers, and so on.
Hey, Donkey, this game sucks.
No. No.
Listen! Adam, you're flying!
I've been my hero since I was knee-high to a grasshopper.
When you say heroes, do you mean the actors or the actual characters?
Characters.
Okay, but you know they're not real, right?
Google from Final.
I've been my hero since I was knee-high to a grasshopper.
When you say heroes, do you mean the actors or the actual characters?
Characters.
Okay, but you know they're not real, right?
Google from Final Fantasy. They're like the save points.
Oh, and of course, there's one way to find this out. Would you mind? I might have to start playing all of a sudden. You seem oddly familiar. And now we're joined by Dark-Horned Evil Guy. How are you doing?
Dark-Horned and evil.
How are you doing now?
Well, I'm dressed plainly, and I've converted a true neutral.
We hunt teddy bears.
Dragons. Naked elves. Naked elves. Naked elves.
Do you really think naked elf women will look better in the escape pod?
Todd, we've been over this.
After this long haul through Gen Con 2005, I really have no choice but to quote the memorable words of the bard. From God, he shied his eyes away from this unhallowed spot.
You found a lot of pirates.
And a lemur in an old woman's bosom.
There's still magic in the world.
Is that magic spelled with a C or a K?
What's the difference?
Well, one's spelled with a C and the other is with a K, actually. That's, Gaia and Cohen in women's skating. Naturally, we've got to find out what he's got on his plate this week. Live from his video game know-how and gambling savvy, it's Jimmy the Geek. Jimmy, how are you, my friend?
Brandy, when you got the hammer, everything else is just nails, baby.
I'll take it that means good. Jimmy, not a lot going on in the sporting world this time of year. Is it tough to keep the fire burning?
Put it this way, Brandy. I can't dance, and it's too windy to stack BBs. I don't care if it's fat babies farting or old people dying. If it has a winner, we're throwing down green, baby.
Well said, Jimmy. All right, what do you got for us?
All right, let's talk Razzie Awards, baby. Brandy, you want to think of these things as Oscars, Slutty, Sister, kicking things off with Worst Actor. This is an easy one, Brandy, and I'll break it down for you. Cruise is an anti-establishment sucker bet. Farrell and Schneider can still make you chuckle, even on their worst day. And The Rock has just enough chops to avoid punchline status. Only Jamie Kennedy has no redeemable qualities as an actor. Take him at 2-1 and double up easy, baby.
Jamie Kennedy for Worst Actor. What else, Jimmy?
All right, Brandy. Worst Actress reads like a roster of chicks I fantasize about when I'm with the wife, if you know what I mean. Jessica Alba doesn't even make the starting gate. She's like a cross between a donkey and an onion, Brandy. An ass so sweet, it'll make you cry. Giving Hilary Duff any award is a total crime, and picking J-Lo is like throwing eggs at the short bus. It's only funny the first couple of times, baby. It's a two-horse race between blonde and blonder, and believe it or not, there is a worse actress than Tara Reid. Take Jenny Mac by a nose over the Cincinnati Bengal.
Jimmy, I'm sorry, did you just refer to Miss Reid as a Cincinnati Bengal?
Yeah, Brandy. That's great uniform, bad helmet, babe.
I see. Quickly moving on. Jimmy, if I had to venture a guess, I would say your last pick is for worst picture.
Brandy, you're smart as a horse and hung like Einstein. Worst picture it is. There you see the field right in front of you. Watching Gigolo and Dirty Love was nauseating, but too harmless to be kneecapped. Hilton gets killed in House of Wax, which eliminates that from the running, and thanks to Simpson, Dukes has just enough TNA to get my geek up, which leaves Jamie Kennedy and Son of the Mask. He's the big loser of the night. And Brendy, just one more thing. That's a lock, baby.
Jimmy, you've done it again, my friend.
You ain't seen nothing, babe. Next week, I'll give you my Oscar pick. In the meantime, I'm going to earn my best performance by mail in a CD hotel room award, if you know what I mean, babe.
As always, I'm afraid I do, Jimmy. That's Jimmy the Geek, live from Las Vegas. Now, stay put, number junkies.
Hirschberger is here to supply us all the ammo we need to take on the new PlayStation 2 title, and for the Xbox as well, kids, don't forget. It's called Black. Lincoln, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
The game is done. It's all wrapped.
It's done. It's wrapped.
Is the team on a beach somewhere sipping mojitos? And,
no, actually, they're in a landfill in Vegas shooting washers and dryers. They got a bunch of guns out there, guys from the gun store. So just kind of a big frag fest and enjoying, basking in the glory of finishing the game.
Yeah, what other way is this team going to celebrate the completion? So when Burnout is finished, do they go on I-5 and slam cars into each other?
Yeah, well, they go out to the Autobahn and do that because they're based over there in Europe. So.
Perfect. The game, obviously, it's a first-person shooter.
Right.
And the question that I'm sure you get all the time and the team gets is, okay, look, there's 2 or 3 first-person shooters out there. There's the Halos and the Half-Lives and the Dooms and the yada. What separates Black?
Black is it's the most intense action game out there. I mean, it is more intense than any first-person shooter. These guys at Criterion, you might know from Burnout, blowing stuff up is their specialty, and that's what they bring with Black, and they just no holds barred.
And it blows up real nice, like.
Yeah.
One of the things that I know that, especially the Burnout games for, is just the sound design, the attention to detail with the sound, which I always think is one of the most overlooked aspects of any game is the sound. The sound design in this game, it scares the crap out of me.
Awesome.
I mean, what work went into it just on the sound side of things?
So the work that went into it, I mean, the sound guys got to do whatever they wanted. The designers go out to the gun store and they shoot the guns and get the fun part. And the sound guys get to go in the studio. They don't have to be stuck to any kind of parameters of like technical, what does the gun actually sound like? They can do whatever they want. So mines and rocket launchers and all the guns, they just do whatever they want.
Yeah, they make it sound like you want it to sound.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, what is the game? I mean, we saw there somebody running, someone shooting. Where are we? What are we killing and why?
Well, the game is set in Eastern Europe, so I don't want to reveal too much of the story because it's pretty good. I don't want to spoil it. But, there's some terrorist activities going on, and you're part of a clandestine black ops unit, so you got to go in and take care of business. So that's basically the game set in Eastern Europe. And you got to take care of the terrorists.
And the tools of the trade are a metric ton of weaponry.
Your guns are the stars of the show. All the guns.
You guys were calling it gun porn at E3 a few days ago.
Well, the critics like to call it gun porn.
Oh, is that
it's like guilty pleasure of just like spitting out bullets throughout the environment and just unloading. So
unloading the hot lead.
Exactly.
This is we're seeing footage on the PlayStation 2. How on earth do you manage to squeeze this kind of power from a system that is real? I mean, it's gasping, it's wheezing, and yet you make it look incredible.
Yeah, I'll tell you, these guys at Criterion, I mean, like I said, again, from the Burnout series, just pushing the hardware to the limit. So Xbox and PS2 both, what these guys have been able to do with the volumetric lighting effects and the particle effects and the smoke, it's just amazing on both the graphics and the sound.
Now, what is a typical mission going to be like? Is it find red key, open red door? Is it open areas? Are
None of that
branching
stuff.
AI?
So, I mean, the game is it's like if you're a fan of any action movies or TV shows, things like 24, movies like The Rock, The Terminator. I mean, it's straight up action through every level. You have to go through, and there's documents, government documents. It's a very topical game. So there's some things that you have to steal and destroy some government documents, but it's pretty much just all out, just rip bullets through through every level.
I'm totally okay with that. Now, one thing that is missing is the multiplayer component, and it seems like the trend these days with the first-person shooters that you have to break out the welding torch and maybe tack on a multiplayer mode at all. Was this a concerted effort from the beginning, a conscious decision that said, look, we're going to focus on single player, and that's that?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because, like, you know, some games do just tack on features like multiplayer for that. You know, Criterion wants to innovate, and they looked at the first-person shooter space and what they can do best, and you know, deliver that intense action shooting experience. And that's what they focused on. So it's a hell of a ride going through this game. You know, multiplayer, you don't even think about it not being there when you're playing this game because it's so intense and such a great adventure. And that's really where they innovate.
Are you going to join them in Vegas and blow up some washers and dryers?
After I leave here.
Lincoln, thanks for coming and sharing the game. Congrats on it, by the way.
Thank you very much.
I know it's going to do very well. Everybody, empty your kid brother's piggy bank or borrow mom's checkbook. You don't have to tell her. Because Black for the PS2 and the Xbox, it hits stores next Tuesday. That's the 28th. Mark your calendar with a Glock if you'd like. Coming up after the break, eardrums will shatter and bowels will shake. And I'll form a one-man mosh pit when Valiant Thor rocks our studio live. Stick around, folks.
We've been rather busy in your absence.
Their first game nearly failed.
Nothing will go wrong.
A year before we shipped Half-Life 1, people in the company looked at what we had and said, this isn't good enough.
We made some pretty big mistakes.
And their second was stolen right out of their own offices.
At the time, it was shocking. That was a dark day for us at Valve.
I had people in the company coming to me and saying, you know, are we going to go out of business?
But they took the world of gaming to the next level.
It's just amazing now that what we can do. It was more than just a video game.
It's more and more possible for more people to look at games as not just entertainment, but an art form.
This is the amazing story of Valve and Half-Life.
Wake up and smell the ashes.
In 1996, a software developer at Microsoft named Gabe Newell is struck with a new idea.
I got to know the guys at id, and the more I thought about what they were doing and the successes they were having with their distribution models as well as their technology, the more it seemed to me that that would be a lot more fun than working on operating systems.
Gabe isn't the only person at Microsoft thinking about getting into gaming.
Mike Harrington and myself met while we were working at Microsoft. We were both working in the operating systems group. We both worked with a guy named Michael Abrash, who's pretty famous as a game writer, and who also went over to id. Mike and I started thinking about possibly starting a game company.
In 1996, Gabe Newell and Mike Harrington leave Microsoft to form Valve Software in Kirkland, Washington.
Valve was really all about controlling the flow of an entertaining experience, having your hand on that knob, deciding when to turn it up, turn it down. That was a compelling metaphor.
We signed the LLC agreement the same day that I got married. I was standing there all dressed up to go off and do my wedding vows, and Mike is frantically shoving papers under my pen so that we can get that taken care of. It certainly makes it easier to remember the company's anniversary and my wedding anniversary since they're on the same day.
This was a novice game company, and guys from Microsoft who worked with games and worked with software but not put together a game project.
Michael Abrash was one of the first people we contacted and said, you know, can you give us advice? Michael Abrash was like, rather than going off and doing your own engine, you should come down to Texas and see what John Carmack and he were working on.
Mike and Gabe and a couple other people went down to Texas. They had the code on a CD on the plane on the way home. They were just convinced this was the way to go.
Valve has an engine. Now they need to figure out what to do with it.
We were originally working on two projects simultaneously.
One was a first-person action game.
The other one was Prospero, which is a very different game. It was much more of a fantasy epic.
That when we had played Doom, there seemed to be sort of two directions. One was this sense of very fast-paced, sort of a blaster, being in a shooting gallery. But Mike and I weren't as good as a lot of the people playing, so our sense of doom was much more like, this is a really scary place, this is a very dangerous place. We're not in a shooting gallery, we're a target in a shooting gallery. There was that sense of being in this world that we thought was really interesting.
Valve ultimately decides to do a first-person shooter called Half-Life.
Good morning, and welcome to the Black Mesa Transit System.
Half-Life 1 started with something which was sort of revolutionary at the time, which was we started you off in an ordinary day at work. No weapons and no sense of peril. You were just a scientist named Gordon Freeman.
Morning, Mr. Freeman. Looks like you're running late.
It was showing up for a day at work at the Black Mesa research facilities.
You're supposed to be in the test chamber about an hour ago. Just today.
You started the day involved in an experiment that went badly wrong.
Oh, hell literally broke loose. All of a sudden, from mild-mannered scientist, you become a crowbar-wielding savior of the universe. It's a perfect sort of story setup, but what then becomes a fight for survival.
Really, it was just the momentum of Half-Life that caused the production of Prospero to stop.
It's not long before Valve realizes the pieces of Half-Life aren't fitting together.
About a year before we shipped Half-Life 1, people in the company looked at what we had and said, this isn't good enough.
We looked at what we had accomplished so far and realized that we'd made some pretty big mistakes in terms of how we were going to achieve these effects. So we seemed to, at that point, be at a juncture.
The team must decide to either ship the game as it is or to throw out everything and start fresh.
Oh my God, we're doomed!
So critical. Aren't you supposed to be in the test chamber half an hour?
By 1997, after an entire year spent in development, Valve decides that Half-Life is missing the mark and gives the game a complete redesign.
You know, we really believed that the right thing to do was to focus on building something that's really good, in spite of the fact that it was going to cost us a lot of time and cost us a lot of money. And also, it's just very stressful to have been working, you know, at that point for a year and say, okay, well, we haven't really gotten as close as we would have hoped by now to the thing that we were wanting to create.
The decision has an unexpected effect on the team.
So rather than demoralizing everybody, we were dealing with our situation honestly, that we were admitting that things weren't up to par yet, and that they were really glad to see our commitment to building a really good game. Surprisingly, I think that morale actually got better.
To get Half-Life done right, Valve adopts a unique approach to game development.
So as we design the games here at Valve, a lot of the design teams tend to break off into subgroups known as cabals,
which was a more collaborative process, sort of allowed people to participate in an additive way without having to be hypercritical or argumentative. It was most productive working through all the details of building a game design.
And that was enormously successful. What we ended up doing was build cabals around different pieces of functionality, like Half-Life Multiplayer had its own cabal towards the end.
It doesn't take long to get Half-Life back on track.
One of the most important things about Half-Life is that we kept a really immersive first-person experience, and we never broke it. We had talked about going away to a third-person camera at times, and we decided that was a bad idea, that we wanted to keep the pressure on for the whole time so that you're in this character and these things are happening to you, and we don't let the pressure out.
In creating the character of Gordon Freeman, we wanted to do someone who was quite a bit apart from the typical action game hero. We wanted to do a character who was really transparent and everyman, not your typical action hero.
We decided that we wanted to do something that hadn't really been done in a first-person shooter.
You're alive. Thank God for that happened too.
And have these characters that were allies that made it more fun to move through the game with.
We've done the scientists and Barney who would talk to you,
Let's get the hell out of here.
follow you, and they had some behavior. They would reveal bits of the story as you went through the levels.
Don't count on cavalry finding us down here. Head for the surface.
You know, we were really excited at that point that we had made, you know, a character whose mouth could move while they were playing.
Destroy this damn thing before it grows any larger.
That ended up being a really good assumption to make. People talked a lot about how much they loved Barney and would drag several Barneys through the game with them and really protect them and not let them get killed.
The different thing that Valve did with AI was really just the amount of attention we pay to it.
Soon, the gaming world starts paying attention to this new first-person shooter.
In 1997, when we went to our first E3, we were off the main hall. Initially, people weren't very aware of us. And then the word of mouth started to pick up. Got a lot of support and ended up winning, the best action game of the show.
Valve finally releases Half-Life in November 1998, and it takes the industry by storm.
It was more than just a video game. It actually was almost like a movie in the way that it played out. Valve was able to do something that had never really been done before with a video game.
It mixed science fiction and horror in this really boiled down, intense way.
We weren't really expecting anything like the kind of response we got after it was released.
Half-Life is named Game of the Year by 50 different publications. It makes $22 million in sales in its first year, and will go on to sell 8 million copies worldwide, bringing in more than $100 million. 2 best-selling expansion packs are also released for the game. A large part of Half-Life's success is also due to user-created modifications, such as Counter-Strike.
The mod phenomenon with Half-Life was a major boon to the entire PC industry. The mod community kept Half-Life at the top of the sales charts for years.
No! Get it off me! Get it off!
I was really interested in the whole theme of military warfare and terrorism and counter-terrorist units. To me, that just made sense to make a game out of that.
As Counter-Strike got more and more popular, by about the 4th or 5th beta, we had surpassed Valve's games in terms of player numbers.
Counter-Strike will go on to become the most played online game in America. Meanwhile, plans for Half-Life 2 start up right away.
Rise and shine, Mr. Rise and shine.
As retailers, Earthlink revolves around you.
Half-Life is a worldwide phenomenon, but Valve Software isn't done yet. Development on Half-Life 2 starts in 1998.
There was a meeting early on with the Half-Life 2 team where I said, you don't have to worry about how long it's going to take. You don't have to worry about how much money you're going to spend. The only thing you have to worry about is making it the best game of all time.
Here in the art war room, as we call it, the artists went out on location to find a lot of references for Half-Life 2.
Half-Life 2 will take full advantage of all the latest technological innovations.
When Half-Life 2, the technologies in the source engine really grew out of our desire to create these things when we were working on Half-Life.
And we've really gotten to a point now where we can do pretty much whatever we want to with animation, with modeling, so that the shortcomings that people were working in the game industry before aren't acceptable anymore. So we're having to hire a lot of people from the film industry.
It's just amazing now that what we can do. We can have scenes where people animate and respond.
Don't drink the water. They put something in it.
The player can be any location in the room, and the characters will still play out their scene and animate toward him, gesture at the player, look at the player, follow him.
Cover me, Gordon.
All the time while revealing bits of the story.
This is how it always starts. First the building, then the whole block.
We found that we needed to really make much stronger demands on our voice actors and go to some traditional Hollywood actors to get the level of acting that we wanted to have.
Are you sure you don't want me to swap out the polarizer?
When we started to get these great animators working on the game, we realized how much farther we could bring our acting.
The inspiration for our facial animation system was the work of Dr. Paul Ekman. He's a researcher that came up with a catalog of facial movements and the expressions. So we went to his system and came up with a set of 34 different facial muscle groups that we modeled on all of our characters that can then be animated and so that you get very realistic facial expressions, and the face is always in motion.
The differences between animating for film and for games is really in games you don't have close-ups and such like that.
What a director does when they're blocking out a movie, they're like, this actor needs to move here and deliver this line and look at this other actor.
Which in film, you know exactly, what angle you're animating for. And
in games, you have no idea, especially for Half-Life 2. It's all an interactive experience. We don't go to cutscenes or anything like that. Our camera is constantly moving because it's the player.
To get the player to have an emotional reaction, these characters are really like acting out a scene.
So all our animations, gestures and movements need to be more broad so that it can read from almost any angle.
The same amount of detail that goes into creating the character models
also goes into creating the characters' personalities.
We found that players really got emotionally attached to our characters, and so we made a huge investment in character acting.
Remember when we thought Black Mesa was as bad as it could get?
We had to come up with very solid personalities and characterizations for the characters so that we could stay with that.
Can't take it anymore.
We created character profiles for all of the major characters and went through a deep series of questions like about their heritage, where they were born, what their parents were like, their religion, sexual preferences, etc. We'd go through this litany of questions so that we'd really get a pretty good feel for who the character was. And then we tried to find the face that worked with that, and then it really gave us a great grounding for casting the voice because we really knew who the person was.
Pay attention, Mr. Freeman.
While Valve works on making Half-Life 2, the public is kept in the dark.
So we kept waiting until they finally were able to show something and showed some technology of what they were working on.
It's not until E3 2003 that Half-Life is finally revealed to the world.
The reaction we got when we first showed Half-Life 2 at E3 was tremendous.
Right off the bat, it was like, oh, wow, look at that. People instantly start planning the upgrade of their PCs.
It was just great for the whole team to know how much the audience out there was waiting for this game and how excited they were with just the pieces that we showed.
When we initially announced the game, we also were pretty bold about announcing a release date.
Gabe Newell walks into the room, sits down and said, Half-Life 2 is coming out on September 30th. Really? Is it? No, say it ain't so.
And we also said, surprise, you haven't heard about it until now, and you're going to be able to be playing it in just a few months.
Well, as it turns out, it wasn't so, and a year later, it's just about heading out.
I'd like to thank you all for coming, and when the game's out, I hope you enjoy it.
The anticipation for that one game is just absolutely incredible.
Half-Life 2 is a huge hit at E3, and Valve is riding high. But in just a few months, everything will come crashing down.
The Source engine gives us the wide variety of visual effects that are possible.
After a hugely successful E3 showing in 2003.
And of course, what tech demo would be complete without a giant pachinko machine?
Valve promises gamers that Half-Life 2 will be ready in September of that year.
Thank you very much.
But Valve won't make that date. Instead, they will become the victim of one of the biggest hacks in gaming history.
One of the biggest challenges we've had in developing Half-Life 2 was the theft and release of the source code of the game on the internet.
Somehow, a hacker was able to set up some sort of code recording software on Valve's machine and was able to actually steal the Half-Life 2 source code and then distribute it across the internet.
Well.
At the time, it was shocking.
That was a dark day for us at Valve. We started seeing screenshots of our game show up online and even source code for the game engine itself.
I had people in the company coming to me and saying, are we going to go out of business?
Still reeling from the break-in, Valve turns to a surprising place for help.
The FBI was not giving us warm fuzzies that this issue was going to get resolved. They were like, well, no, almost never, nobody ever gets caught, and that's just the way it is.
We appealed to the gamer community for help with this problem. So we sent out a message saying, look, our stuff has been stolen. We know that you're anxious to play it just as much as we're anxious to release it. This hurts, so we could use all the help we can get. The response to that was amazing. Tens of thousands of email messages were sent to us with tips about possible sources of the leak or where people were seeing stuff show up online.
People were being called in for questioning by the FBI, and the word started to go out that they're closing in on this guy in Germany. And that's when that person in Germany contacted me saying, please, I'm not such a bad guy after all. They were arrested, and prosecution is ongoing.
With the source code theft behind them, Valve goes back to finishing Half-Life 2, from the storyline to the gameplay.
You start off the game again, figuring out your whereabouts in the world.
Welcome. Welcome to City 17.
You're deposited in City 17, which is a mysterious city created out of the ruins of other cities. You're surrounded by a populace that's totally beaten down and is waiting for some reason to strike back, sort of a depressed powder keg. And Gordon Freeman, the usual situation for him is he's a catalyst for change.
Half-Life 1 was really known for having pretty advanced AI, and we knew that going forward we were going to have to make additional investments in the AI. We spent a lot of time thinking about the squad AI and stuff like that.
We really had just tons of gameplay, physics and simulation as ideas. It can put you in a situation where you can use your wits, use your environment to really give you a really rich gameplay experience with lots of freedom.
Half-Life 2 will also expand Valve's relationship with the gaming community.
Modding's changed a lot, going from sort of the old school days of when people would just sort of, here's an engine, see what you can do with it, to today where we have a thing called a software development kit, which we deliberately build and give to mod makers for them to go and build the mods for.
Valve also introduces a new content distribution system.
Steam is a new type of distribution model that Valve has come up with, where you're able to purchase your games completely online.
Steam is letting us have a much more direct relationship with our customers. We can use Steam to communicate about our games, deliver updates immediately to a huge number of people.
Half-Life 2 is finally released on November 16, 2004.
We were terrified that we weren't going to be able to pull it off.
And for the people at Valve Software, the game is worth the wait.
10 years from now, people look back at Valve and see a company that really genuinely cared about the games and the people who play games. They didn't cut corners, and yeah, they may have never shipped on time, but they at least lived up to its responsibilities to moving things forward.
When people evaluate Half-Life 2, they'll be able to look at it as not just entertainment, but an art form in a way that comic books and movies and books have come into their own as art forms, as well as being entertaining.
That's all for now. A comedian so scandalous, so controversial, he won't roll over for anyone.
Tell us about your new sitcom that's going to be off the air in 2 months.
Freed from the cages of late-night, Triumph runs wild on G4. Insulting his way across the country.
How can something so tiny and delicate be such a filthy and brutal whore?
Triumph, the insult comic dog. Premieres March.
I did think, several years ago, and like all my friends and I, we all read it, and we all really got into it, and we were just super impressed by the fact that it was this true story.
Sure.
And we also acknowledged that had it been fiction, it wouldn't have been actually as compelling or good because he's not that great of a writer.
Not that great of a writer.
He's no Kevin Pereira.
No, and who is? Who is? But he's working on his next project, which oddly enough is a writing gig, Sarah.
Well,
I kid you not.
James, I hope you've learned to love him.
Yeah, well, we're going to see. It's a screenplay based on the true life story of Sonny Barger. He was one of the original founders of the Oakland chapters of the Hells Angels, which is really where everything got started. So.
I don't know, do you think Spray's going to be able to restrain himself and stick to the facts?
Probably not.
The Life of Sonny Barger, a screenplay by James Ray. Sonny Barger was born on October 8, 1938, in Modesto. No. Sonny Barger was born on the moon to a collective of space communists. Yeah. A resourceful youth, Sonny cut his own umbilical cord after birth using his powerful laser eyes. In childhood, Barger was in constant competition with his neighbor, Satan. After a grueling series of challenges, Barger finally won the rights to the name Hells Angels after beating Satan in a game of bocce. Barger then took the Hells Angels with him to California after willing it into existence with his mind. Ooh, that's good. That's real good. You're on fire. You're hot. You are hot. Yeah.
Actually, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
That's how I remember the story.
That's the fire. That is the fire.
That is the fire. Absinthe.
Cheese.
As the poet said, Sarah, Absinthe
Barger built his first motorcycle by hand at the age of 6. 4. 2. Yeah. 2. That's so good. Yeah. Yeah.
Golf cred. Plus, Chris Gore risks life and limb to bring us the best DVD releases in DV Tuesday, and we'll see which beautiful lady gets to move on to the next demeaning round of our MySpace challenge. All that on the next Attack of the Show. Our next guest single-handedly saved the infamous liquor Absinthe from extinction. He's chemist and absinthe historian Ted Bro, and the next round is on him, believe it or not. Welcome to the show, Ted. Thanks for coming down and bringing. This is the good stuff, right?
That's it. That's the real thing.
This is the little green fairy, I'm told.
That's right. You got it.
You know, I tried asking for this at a bar the other week. I got a Midori sour served by a sailor, and while I appreciated it, that was nice of him. I asked, like, is the green fairy illegal? And I was told, yes, it is. You can't. Absinthe is clearly illegal. I'm going to get busted. I'm going to have pepper spray in my eyes in about 5 seconds. Is this true?
Common misconception. Common misconception. Absinthe is not illegal to possess. Okay, it won't meet FDA standards. That's it.
Okay.
It's not treated like an illicit.
Well, neither does the beef bowl at Yoshinoya, but they still serve it.
Exactly.
They'll allow it.
Yeah, neither is unpasteurized cheese from France. But you know, hey.
So again, I'm holding this. This isn't illegal, but however, because this magically appeared, obviously, this is okay. But it's illegal to have imported or brought in, or illegal to sell in the States.
That was brought by flying monkeys.
Yes.
Yeah, right. You can't distribute absinthe legally within the United States.
Okay.
All right. It's not banned specifically. It just the FDA won't pass it.
Right, and they won't pass it because when you drink it, it makes you want to lob your ear off, or jump off a cruise ship, or hallucinate, or season past the view. What is it? Doesn't it completely trip you out, or no?
Yeah,
is that another common misconception?
That's it. Just cut off both your ears and no. Actually, it's a very common misconception. It's a modern myth, really. The FDA's those laws are based upon old beliefs that go back in the U.S. to 1912. So it's not. You're not going to have any hallucinations. You're not. There's really nothing in it that's going to cause any more deleterious effects beyond that of the normal alcohol. And absinthe does contain a lot of alcohol.
Yeah. Well, and so there is a saving grace now. Because for a moment there, I was a little worried that I wouldn't be seeing some stuff while I was taking it. But at least the room will get spinning. How close was this to actually being extinct, though? Because there was a while. I mean, I know it was all the rage. All the kids were doing it back in the when? 18.
That's right. Well, back then, absinthe. Back then. Remember, there were no laws of food and beverage and drugs and all that. Everything was basically legal and available. So what happens was when these people came up and said, well, the winemakers specifically, we want to ban absinthe. This drink is too popular, So what happened was they sought to ban absinthe, and these artists said, well, how can they tell us what we can't drink?
Sure.
So absinthe became a symbol of freedom to the artists and the poets, and that's why they wrote about it and painted it. It was a symbol, icon of freedom.
Like a drunk bald eagle soaring over the skies.
That's right. And in 1915, it was banned in France, which is basically the last bastion in Europe to have it legal. And for the most part, for about 85 years, it was almost gone forever.
And now, I had a friend that went to Amsterdam, and everybody's saying, bring back a suitcase full of absinthe. And it amounted to nothing less than basically like sugar water with like a little bit of alcohol in it. You have figured out, and this is a pre-banned bottle of absinthe, you were telling me earlier. You've figured out how to recreate this stuff, right?
That's right. That is a 100-year-old bottle of absinthe. Never been opened except for us to draw samples and taste. But yeah, I've analyzed vintage absinthe for years.
And how do you actually have machinery where you go and you break down and figure out exactly what's in this and how it was made?
Absolutely. Basically the same equipment they use in forensic chemistry. Forensic research.
And what I love about absinthe is that it has it's almost a ceremonial drink. Like as far as me and tradition and drinking is concerned, like an Irish car bomb for me is a ceremony. Like that's quite a process. You have to drop one into the other. But with absinthe, I'm always confused because people said you needed a spoon and sugar cubes and this, that, the other. You got to burn it. You got to set it on fire and then hire dancers. What is is there a routine? What do you do?
Well, the French are enthralled with their rituals, and basically the absinthe ritual typically involved drinking absinthe, having a specific type of absinthe glass with a sugar, a spoon like this.
Right.
With a sugar, slide a spoon with a sugar cube on top and pouring ice water through it and watching the drink become cloudy, or louche, as they say.
Okay. Can we pour some now? Can we get this going? I'd love to I know it's only Monday, but I'd love to get drunk already if we could and escape the pain of the show.
Let's do it.
So this, what is it? This isn't pre-banned. This is something that you have made here. This
actually, I made this in Europe. This is actually a lab sample of an absinthe that's going to be released very soon.
Okay.
Okay.
So we pour this into a glass now.
That's right.
And it has to be ice-cold water, right? When you're actually pouring water onto it.
Has to be ice-cold water.
And is there a reason for that other than, is it just for taste, or is there something that the ice-cold water does?
Well, the ice-cold water, gives it a certain flavor. If the water's too warm, it just doesn't taste very good. It's like a beer.
Sure.
Like beer.
Sure. Can we get some ice-cold water? Is that possible?
I think we can. I think we have a green fairy that can deliver.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, hey,
Thank
how
you.
about this?
All right, so we're getting some ice-cold water. Now, what is this contraption that it's being poured into?
This is an antique absinthe fountain. This is something you would have found in the bars of...
Thank you so much, Miss Ferry. Hope to see you very soon. 3 or 4 of you. Dizzy.
You would have found this on the bar tops in Paris around 1900. And basically, when you bought an absinthe from the barman, he poured absinthe in a glass.
Okay.
And what you could do is add your own water, just like I'm doing so now.
So we get the little spigot going. We add our water. Now, what's the pour here? Do you just add to taste, or is there a certain amount you need to get to?
Actually, what I feel makes the perfect pour is, if you look at the glass here, you'll see that there's it looshes, the cloudiness begins, and it comes from the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a clear green layer that floats on top. And you get the perfect drink, in my opinion, just when that clear green layer disappears and the whole drink becomes cloudy. Yeah. Or looshes, as we like to say.
Now, I mean, we're talking about this stuff. Obviously, bottles of it can happen. Not everybody can afford magical flying monkeys to deliver it, though. Is it possible that this could perhaps, I don't know, be ordered on the Internet and might still make it to your front porch on time, or is that possible?
Well, if you're a U.S. resident or a resident of a couple of countries where absinthe is still
by the way?
Oh, please,
Okay,
enjoy
please
yourself.
All right.
Yeah, the only way to get it would be to order it through the Internet and have it delivered to your doorstep. And fortunately, that doesn't seem to be a big problem.
Good. That's
How
good
do you
to
like
hear.
that?
This is fantastic.
Goes down
actually.
smoothly. Never
Yes,
would
it is.
believe that's about 140 proof.
This is. Oh, I'm going to put. I got more show left. Ted, thank you for coming by. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ted.
I hope to be very suitably drunk for the chat session. Thank you for that. You don't have to be a jazz bow or a bohemian to order the most authentic absinthe in the world, my friends. No, you could. Not that we're, telling you, but you can visit the Jade Liqueurs website at vintageabsinthe.com. Again, that's vintageabsinthe.com. We'll put a link on our website as well. Bottoms up, kids. Coming up after the break, Ted and I take your absinthe questions, so get calling, and then Sarah will chime in with her gems of the Internet. Till next. You're watching on G4, but now it's time to take some questions for absinthe expert Ted Bro. Ted, you ready to take some calls?
I'm ready. You ready?
Powerful stuff. Good stuff. One commercial break is really all it takes, by the way, my friend. We have James on the phone from Moreno Valley, California. Are you there, James?
Yes, I am.
How's it going?
Good.
All right.
I was wondering, is it possible to home brew absinthe, and is it legal in the States to do so?
Yeah, if you can't have it distributed, can we make it in a bathtub with some fruit and an old dry gym sock? Or what's the method?
That's a very good question. I'm glad someone asked that question. Actually, there's some people out there that would lead you to believe that you can make absinthe by soaking herbs and vodka or grain alcohol, and that's just plain untrue.
Not true.
That's absolutely untrue. Basically, to make absinthe properly, it requires lots of whole herbs, requires a still, and it's illegal to distill anything in the U.S. without a license. So, in other words, you can't do it at home, really, without breaking the law, and you need expertise and materials, and don't try it, and don't let anybody tell you that you can do otherwise.
Yeah, you're probably better off not having it imported because that's illegal, right?
Well, you can...
yeah, exactly. We're fine. Our legal department's happy with that one. Aaron joins us on the phone now from Modesto, California. Are you there, Aaron?
Yeah, I'm here. How you guys doing today?
Doing well. You're not brewing absinthe in your bathtub by any chance right now?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I get mine from Europe.
Good. That's good to hear. You have a question?
Yeah, I was going to ask the guy there, what's his favorite method of preparing it? The louche method or the check fire method?
Whoa. Is that I have no idea what either of those mean. What's the difference between the two methods?
Well, that's a great question. Basically, what happened in the 1990s, okay, the Czech Republic, absinthe was never made illegal there, but absinthe was never popular there, contrary to what like you believe. Mm-hmm. So what they did is the Czechs had to come up with something that they could call absinthe. They didn't really have any expertise when absinthe is. They took some vodka, put a little aromatherapy oil in it, some green dye. So this is absinthe, but the stuff tasted terrible. So they invented this method of basically pouring absinthe over a piece of sugar in a spoon and lighting it on fire.
Gotcha. All right.
And then caramelizing a sugar cube is a perfect way to ruin a good drink.
Yeah.
And of course, the Czech stuff isn't good. So avoid Czech absinthe. Avoid lighting it on fire. That never took place. There's no root in history. It's complete nonsense.
So you're all about the louche method.
All about the louche. And if it doesn't louche, it's not absinthe.
Good to hear, Ted. Thank you for joining us and taking the call.
Thank you, Kevin.
We appreciate it. Folks, just when you think the Internet couldn't yield any more gems, along comes Sarah Lane.
So, Kevin, are you ready for my first gem of this week?
I'm ready to go.
All right, so let's get right into it. First gem, demonic tots. Now, I should just sort of explain. This is actually a gallery of, like, young kids from the 1950s eating things like eat your spinach, you know, kind of thing.
Oh, like campaign posters of, like, come on, kids, it's tasty.
Except that they're all really psycho and devilish. For example, we've got a demon girl with ham.
Whoa!
I mean, she's so scary, right?
Yeah, very much so.
There's nothing cute about that kid. Next one, this one's eating cake.
I like that.
I mean, she's also going to kill me later.
No, absolutely.
And
She will haunt your
finally,
dreams.
here's a Satan's child.
Oh, man.
Eating some beans.
Yeah.
I'm mad.
His uncle beats him.
Yeah.
You can just see it in the
So
eyes.
anyway, demonic tots.
That's a gem.
Those are 3 of many more.
Oh, okay. So there's a plethora of photos.
Hours of entertainment.
All right.
Next gem is actually an oldie but a goodie. Our very own Office Jesus goes to the site frequently, kind of just to get inspired.
Sure.
Jesus is with you always. And it is a site that it just kind of lets us know, reminds us that Jesus truly is with us in everything that we do. For example, he cheers on jugglers. You know?
That's always
like, hey,
nice.
man, good job.
Yeah.
You are
3 at a
good.
time, that's impressive.
You're really good. A lot of people can't do that. Psyching up a bodybuilder. You can do it just a little higher. You know, lift with the legs. I'm with you always. And finally,
what is that?
installing a trucker. Well, the trucker, truckers, kill hookers and stuff like that, and they
Sure.
feel really bad about it. And all you have to do is say sorry, and Jesus forgives.
That's what he does.
You know?
That's what he's there for.
Hey, I didn't, well, I did mean to, but I am sorry.
Yeah.
Jesus said,
I didn't mean to do it on I-5. I meant to at least
I'm
wait
with
till we got
you
to the
always,
405.
Right. Finally, gem number 3. For anybody who thinks that smoking is cool, you know those kinds of
The kids. They hang out in the Walmart parking lot
Some
with their
adults,
skateboards
too.
and their hula hoops.
Hard to know what's going on in their minds. If you know anybody like that, point them towards ashtraymouth.com. This is actually like an anti-smoking flash app. So you pick a doll head. I picked this little girl. And then you pick something really disgusting to, like, put in her mouth. Like, I don't know, this, dead fish
head.
garbage.
Okay. Sushi.
And she eats it. And then she tells you something like, hey, this really tastes bad, but it's better than smoking.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm serious.
That's great.
Yeah, I know.
But do one more. Do one more.
Okay.
All right, what else is there?
What do you got? How
a moldy tomato.
Moldy tomato.
No, don't eat that.
No,
don't eat that. No!
She'll eat anything. And she says,
she's taking her time with it. She's chewing 32
she says,
times.
I'm a flash app and I'm starting to hiccup. Anyway,
I'm being served up a 14-4.
Again, lots of fun, Kevin. I mean, more fun than you think. Actually, she sits there with her mouth agape, scaring me. Don't look.
That's what I'm used to.
That's kind of weird.
That's all right. Ashtray mouth, huh?
Anyway, Kevin, you got gems. You got gems.
You got gems. Thank you.
One more Monday, almost in the can.
Almost.
In the ashtray of love.
Are you done? Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. Don't roll your eyes, folks. Once in a while, fresh ink. Well, it just needs to get out for some fresh air. So we sent Blair Butler to San Francisco's WonderCon convention to frolic with the folks.
I'm here at WonderCon, the biggest comic book convention in San Francisco. But more importantly, I'm among my people. Dude, how much did you love Infinite Crisis #4 when Superboy went ape crap and, like, ripped the punched the Teen Titans head off? Was that awesome?
My God, you could be the coolest girl ever.
This is a Legend of Zelda shirt. It's also an effective form of birth control. That was my dork laugh. So if you guys could have any one superpower, what would it be? Telekinesis.
The ability to read minds. I guess the obvious would be fly. To fly. Probably the willpower to not spend my money on comic books. Super strong, maybe.
Be honest, though, there's sometimes when you fly without having superpowers. But men.
I've been instructed to say no comment.
This is like the greatest day of my nerdy life.
Bryan Singer, director of X-Men, X2, Superman Returns. You did a panel today with Brandon Routh. How did that go?
Went very well, I think.
Yeah.
It was fun, yeah. Brandon hadn't gotten up in front of a crowd at a comic convention before, so it was fun.
I know the fanboys can be pretty ravenous, and I know like a few of the decisions about Superman have been sort of controversial for them.
Yeah, it's always tough. Fans particularly have a preconceived notion of what they'd like to see on the screen. I sort of do my best at interpreting all of those and then trying to come up with some kind of happy medium that also makes sense to me. So, it's nice to be able to have a forum to explain myself when there's something that concerns people.
after I see Superman Returns, will I forgive you for handing over X-Men 3 to Brett Ratner?
Oh, I hope so. I hope you'll be happy if you're a fan of Superman. At least, he's back.
In Superman Returns, will we be treated to anyone? In Superman Returns, will we be treated to anyone doing a Sarah Douglas-esque, "Oh, Superman"?
Superman. No.
Any flying manhole covers?
No, yes. But
awesome.
Not being thrown necessarily in a frisbee-like fashion.
Episode 1 was worth. No, episode 2 was worth. Was it difficult being, always isolated from the bunch?
Sometimes you just stand out. That's okay.
You're like the one blue penguin. I am so honored to receive the 2006 Mace Windu Award for outrageous nerdery. I want to thank my mom. So, when you're not killing Space Marines, what do? The publishers at Marvel, the people at Attack of the Show, Grandma.
See a young, dark, handsome, rich male in your future. You see them?
Is he serving me with a subpoena? Robert Kirkman, God. Wait, did he write a comic book? From what I understand, you guys have been having some domestic problems lately. One of the best things about being at a comic book convention, there's never a line for the ladies' room. I think we're having like a love connection with the eyes right now.
We never got to dance. You never took the chance. I never got to touch your heart to show how much you're all that I believe. Your love is all I need. We never got to dance.
We hereby pledge to be promiscuous
and do anyone
and anything at any time.
To march boldly into the whorehouses of the world and joyously dance
the horizontal mambo.
To spread the love in the dirtiest way. And to have enough sex during our formative years.
To ensure we know what we're doing
if we ever get married.
We do it for humanity.
We do it for freedom.
We do it because we love doing it. We love doing it.
We love doing it. We do it for our friends who will think we are totally cool. This we pledge.
This we pledge.
This we pledge.
This message brought to you by the Society for the Liberation of Undone Trousers.
Now, which is good news for Julie Simone, who plies her trade as a dominatrix here in Los Angeles. Julie, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on. It's a pleasure to have you here. You are a professional dominatrix.
Correct.
This is something, is this like a community college course you can take, or is this something we can sign up for on the internet? How do you become a professional in the field of dominatrixing?
There actually are people that put on classes. You can go to like a dominatrix school. I think they have them in San Francisco.
Okay.
I learned by doing it in photo shoots and video shoots.
Okay.
Now I work at a house.
A house?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, at house, I'm assuming you have clients. Are there services that they can request from you other than, what is the field of being a dominatrix? Are there specifics that you can offer these clients?
Oh, sure. You can offer slave training,
okay.
bondage.
Fantastic.
CBT.
See, we probably can't spell.
We probably can't.
Probably can't. But sounds tasty.
Yes.
What else?
Medical scenarios.
Medical scenarios. Okay. So this is probably a little bit more involved than playing doctor with a stethoscope.
Yes.
I'm assuming.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky. Now, is a typical client someone who wants to be tied up or tie you up? Is there a mix?
They do it both ways, but our house is mostly for people to come and be dominated.
Oh, well. Welcome to my house, where you can do whatever you'd like to me. You're going to demonstrate, using me as a guinea pig to our viewers at home, exactly what they should be doing with their loved ones tonight. It's a very special day, Valentine's Day, of course. This is the hog tie, I'm told.
Yes.
All right, let's get to it. I'm going to lay down on this table. Do you want me face first, on my back?
Face down.
On my side? Yes, ma'am. I'll just assume the position right here. Don't mind me. So now, what are we using here? Is this some double-braided rope? Is this some Ace Hardware stuff? This is what rope?
Hemp rope.
Fantastic. That's what I like. Any reason we're going with the hemp rope?
It doesn't have as much stretch or give as most rope.
Oh.
So once it's tied, you're tied.
I'm really screwed then. Now, are you doing this? Is this for pain here? Are you going to tie this very tight, or can I request you?
Tie you so that you can't get out, but it doesn't need to be uncomfortable.
Okay, good. And is there a method to this madness here? Is there a certain type of knot you'll be tying?
Just use a square knot, honestly.
Okay.
That feels great right about now. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's nice and tight. And now, okay, yeah, let's go tighter then. That's what I meant to say. I realize now, Julie, that we haven't worked out a safe word. Shouldn't we have, should I not, like, if I yell Petunia or Twinkie?
I mean, do you really need a safe word?
I'm all for the edge play, but today, I mean, do you typically work without a safe word?
You can use yellow, means you're starting to be uncomfortable.
Okay.
Red means you need to be out right now.
All right. If I yell yellow, will you step on the gas and just gun it? Because then let's do that. Let's do that. Oh, what's going on here now? So you've got my feet tied, you got the hands tied. Oh, yeah, let's join them. That's great. Oh, yeah! Yeah, that was not subtle. You did not finesse there, did you? Wow. Now, you're doing this fairly quick, Julie. Is this the normal amount of time it would take with a client?
Usually their sessions are an hour, so you take your time and add a lot more rope, make it more elaborate.
Gotcha. Well, we're going to have a lot of leftover time, so is there anything else you'd like to do to me, maybe? I mean, we got the studio pretty much to ourselves. It's you, me, and a couple camera guys. No? All right. Well, thanks. Julie, don't walk too far now because you have to untie me. You want to get in touch with Julie's... Ow,
Kevin, I think you're going to be a little incapacitated for a while, so I'll just go ahead and finish this up. Thanks, Julie. Good job. If you want to get in touch with Julie Simone, you can reach her by email, miss@juliesimone.com. Now, I'm going to enjoy this quiet, sort of the quiet of Kevin being tied up for just a few minutes. But don't go away. After the break, it's the feeds, Kevin. The feeds coming up. And it came from eBay. So you got to stay tuned.
Only on
Look, I never thought a girl would beat me at the old Mine's Bigger contest, but when I got a look at our MySpace girl's computer, whoo! Telling you, you'll see that. But right now, joining us from the deep recesses of nerddom is the very lovely and incredibly talented, you're going to see, the current attack of the show, MySpace Pick of the Week. It's Dawn. Hello, Dawn.
Hello.
Welcome to the show. Better way to intro you. The question on everybody's mind is, are you really as nerdy as you appeared to be last week? Because
I really am.
There was a lot of, this is clearly her boyfriend's house, she called up creepy old uncle that collects Transformers.
No, first of all, I don't have a boyfriend. I don't have a Valentine, so,
See, gentlemen, that's how you fish.
I don't.
Right
I don't,
there.
actually.
That's called fishing. Really.
Those are all mine. Every single thing in that house is mine. I've collected over the years. I mean, I started as a kid kind of with toys from the 80s, Transformers, various things, Strawberry Shortcake, even My Little Pony. Got to be a little girly, but yeah, I mean, it's just grown, and I very much enjoy everything that Hasbro puts out and a lot of other toy companies.
Very nice. To be honest, I zoned out the moment you said you didn't have a boyfriend, because then I'm thinking about the next, hey, what's
well,
going on
yeah,
tonight?
I don't.
I have to ask about your special talent that you showed last week. I don't know if you remember. I know it's been kind of a daze since you got picked. But there was something involving action figures being stuffed into the bra region.
I had Picard nice and close.
Boldly going where every man would love to go.
Absolutely, right?
He's there, snug as a bug. Now, is there a method to this madness? Is there a technique like...
I think... wow.
Because I've been trying to... Look,
figure from Halo.
I go big whenever I decide to do something. And I'm
really? So we are going out later then.
I'm just trying to think, absolutely. Where, I mean, is there...
My grandma
do you always go feet first, or...
I usually go, feet first, but do you want to...
Okay. No, by all means.
Well, I think he's beautiful, by the way.
Yeah, very.
And in a handsome... I would go this way, though, because probably he wants to put his face in there. So I think that's probably the best way to do it.
Yes, he does, Don. That's exactly what he wants to do. All right, there's someone out there.
Riker likes to.
We have to get to the business of this little bad boy here, which is there's someone that thinks that you should actually be resigned as our attack of the show.
I know. There's Heather. She's fabulous, I must say. I've talked to her several times. Okay. Her birthday was yesterday. She's a fabulous girl. Well, I enjoy her. She has a big hard drive.
We're going to see a lot more than just Heather's hard drive. I want to show our viewers a peek, give them a peek at our next contender. That's right, folks. This is Heather, so check it out.
Hi, my name's Heather. This is my place, probably where I spend most of my time playing games, other things, so why don't you come take a look? This is my computer right here. I'm running a AMD dual-core 4400. I'm cooling it with the Zalman 7700, 2 gigs of OCC titanium memory, Asus 8N SLI Deluxe motherboard, EVGA 7800 GTX 256 megs, a Sony 23-inch widescreen monitor. You'll notice I have mice. Not sure exactly why, but... Ow. Oh. APC 1500 VA battery backup, subwoofer, Altec Lansing 400 watt piece set. Whenever I get something, it has to be the best. This is a picture. This is a picture when I was about 2 or 3 years old. It's my first game memory. As you can see, I'm playing WoW or World of Warcraft. Just about a couple days ago, I hit level 60 on my first character. What the I'm gonna die. I have a level 60 Rogue on Draenor. I have a couple other characters. I have like a 49 Hunter on Doomhammer. I have a level 18 Warrior on Draenor as well. That's a Horde. It's addictive. It's like heroin. This is my kitchen right here. Oh, it's one of the most high-tech coffee makers ever. This right here is a Tassimo desk. It has a bar. This right here is a Tassimo desk. It has a barcode on it. You put it in there, it reads the barcode, get a cup.
Delicious.
So this is my lightsaber.
Here, hit the sound guy. Hit him like this.
All right.
Ow!
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. I'm just reading my Maxim PC sitting on my awesome vibrator chair, which isn't my only vibrator, if you know what I mean. I just want to give a shout out to Dawn, because I just hope she doesn't cry too hard when I beat her next week. Isn't that right, Tammy?
I actually don't know what she means. Can you explain, Dawn?
She's a little competitive, and honestly, I think she's a very nice girl. I really like her, and of course I want to win. I want to stay on the show.
Did you guys coordinate skirts? It looked like she was
I don't know. She didn't tell me what she wore in her segment.
I was going to bring mine out, but it would be
inappropriate. You should. You'd look good in it.
Dawn, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Sincerely appreciate it.
All right.
Maybe we'll see you back next week. Who knows?
Please have me back.
Folks, be sure to check out Dawn and Heather's profiles on the old MySpace. You'll get all the links you need at attackoftheshow.com. And remember, you have 2 things to vote on this week, so pay attention. It's kind of confusing. You have to vote on who you want to be the next MySpace girl and who the next contender will be, starting right now. Literally, get to it and look for this action figure on eBay very soon. Stay where you are. We're reading emails and chat questions when Attack of the Show continues attacking you.
Yeah.
Look, there's 1,001 of these things. We wanted to share a couple with you. We're looking forward to more Dick Cheney fun on the web, because it's going to be happening for years and years to come.
Well, and he has such a good sense of humor, I assume, about all of this stuff.
Kids on the internet.
Kevin, this is something, I've got something here that would be a really good Valentine's Day gift if you wanted to splurge and really impress the special lady or man in your life. I'm not even going to
Sure, let's not judge.
This is the Nokia 7380, and it's really small, as you can see. And I know, actually, that you...
What is it?
It's a phone. Oh, it's a phone. Did I not say that?
No, you didn't mention that at all.
It's a phone, a tiny little guy, and you have accused it of being a little too girly.
It's a little feminine for my taste, but I understand that's probably their target market.
As you can see, it has a 1.3 megapixel camera, so that's, better than a lot of the VGAs, still out there, and a really nice display. The weird thing about it is that it doesn't actually have, the regular number pad anywhere, so it's sort of this scroll wheel type thing. For iPod lovers, it seems cool at first, but it's a little cumbersome.
Yeah, especially if you're trying to add somebody's name and number. But my argument to that is, look, at this point, there's probably a lot of people can have 2 cell phones these days.
It's true.
Chances are you have one for your everyday stuff. This is like, I'm going out.
Phone.
I'll put this in my little man purse for the evening, my little man bag, little man sack.
Sure.
Take it out to the clubs, not worry about it. And plus, you've probably already got your contacts stored on a SIM card anyways. You pop that in. You're good to go.
It's really only cumbersome the first time.
Exactly.
You scroll through
That's what I keep telling her. It's like, look, it's going to take a little while. It's going to be a little rough. But after that,
I just don't believe that ever. You've ever been in that situation.
It plays
nice thing, MP3s and AAC files too. It's not really going to handle more than about an album at a time in AAC format, MP3 even less.
And no expandable memory, which is a big deal.
Kind of, and it's only 64, so it's not that big. What is big is the price.
Yes.
$600.
Yeah. But it's worth it. If you're looking for the stylish phone, I think it's pretty sweet.
They're kind of going towards that. Phones are so small, they go on your keychain with everything else kind of thing. So
put this anywhere. We're not asking questions.
It's very pretty.
Yeah, I like it.
Stylish little guy.
I like it.
Or girl.
So Valentine's Day, it's not just a celebration of extended foreplay. So apparently I was wrong.
Yeah, it is.
I do owe you $5. It's
on G4.
Hey, we are here in Las Vegas with Rick from Stainless Steel Studios talking about his brand new real-time strategy game, Rise and Fall, Civilizations at War. Because you guys are known for doing some great RTSs, Empire and those types of games. Now you're coming back with this new Civilization game. Tell us a bit about what makes this RTS so unique.
Well, one of the reasons this game is exciting to me is because I get a chance to revisit a time period that is particularly intriguing to me. What we wanted to achieve in the game is a movie-like experience. You know, people go to the movies and they see big productions like Gladiator and Troy about ancient history, and they see these scenes that we've just not been able to do before in games. So now, if you're outfitting your ships for war in our game, you actually have realistic men walking aboard the ship. You can have archers to attack your enemy from range. You can ram and pulverize enemy ships and send them to the bottom of the sea. So we wanted to bring a movie-like experience gamers have never seen before to gameplay.
I know a lot of the heroes from the old civilizations like Caesar, Cleopatra, you can actually play as them in this game, is that right?
This is what we call our heroic command. There's actually 8 historically accurate, well-known heroes in the game, like Achilles or Alexander the Great. And while other historical real-time strategy games have introduced players to heroes, this game takes it to an entirely new level. There are moments in the game where you can choose to actually take command of the hero and be in his shoes. So you can don the armor of Alexander the Great and be the first one over the ramparts. And you actually are fighting alongside your troops, and you are a heroic commander for very small but rewarding, exciting, visceral experiences in the middle of a gaming world with hundreds and thousands of units, which is an RTS game at its best.
Obviously a big multiplayer focus as well, playing online against your friends.
What's neat about it is this heroic mode works in multiplayer as well. The game lets you play 4 civilizations, and each civilization has 2 heroes to choose from in skirmish. So if you're a big multiplayer fan, you'll get to play. You'll have 8 really interesting choices, including Queen Cleopatra, Julius Caesar, Achilles, Alexander the Great, and Ramses are just a couple of the examples.
It's called Rise and Fall. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you.
We all know the Grand Theft Auto series is one of the most influential in the history of gaming.
That's right. Now we've got a new title on the Xbox 360. This one's definitely taking its cues from GTA. It's THQ's new Saints Row.
Hey, we're standing outside the THQ booth, and we're talking about Saints Row with the lead designer, Chris Stockman. Chris, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
All right, Chris, tell us what Saints Row is all about, man.
Saints Row is the first next-generation open-world game for the Xbox 360. It's all about respect. It's all about taking over the city. We have 13 different activities and free-form general gameplay for you to just do what you want. It's all about freedom. It's all about how the player wants to play the game and empowering him.
Now, is it a fictional city, or did you guys actually use a real live city?
It's a fictional city. It's called Stillwater. It's a kind of an industrial, rusty belt type city in the vein of Chicago and whatnot. It's not in a particular state or anything, but it's called Stillwater, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, give us a little bit of background on some of the stuff that we're going to be able to do in Saints Row that we haven't done in games like Grand Theft Auto or The Getaway and stuff like that.
Well, it's all about freedom, and that's kind of the tagline we're trying to pimp ourselves. Yeah. It's all about earning respect, and you earn respect by doing a variety of activities, and activities range from pimping, hijacking, drug trafficking, insurance fraud, escort, and a few others. And you play them how you want to play them. You can do all of street racing if you want, or you can do a bunch of pimping, or you can mix and match. You earn respect, and respect unlocks story missions. And the missions actually conquer, once completed, they give you a part of the world. Now, the key is that there's 4 storylines, and you can play them in any order you want, and you can go from one storyline to a next and stop in the middle and whatnot. And that's really where our main difference lies in. We also give the player full creation of his character. He can create it to his virtual likeness and then upgrade him throughout the game.
Now, you talk about some pretty hardcore stuff that you can do in this game. Is there any kind of moral code? Is there any kind of ethical kind of overrun? Is there any kind of morality play elements in there at all?
There's always consequences to actions that you do. Yeah. So you start killing random people, the law will come down on you, SWAT will come, the choppers, riot police. But we track 2 different types of notoriety. We call it notoriety. There's police notoriety, and then there's gang notoriety. So if I go and start killing gang members and just capping them, the police aren't really going to care so much. They're going to yeah, he's cleaning up the city. Whereas if I start killing civilians, then the police are going to come down on me hard, whereas the gangs will kind of leave me alone. Right. So, yeah, there's always consequences. There's always, things that the city reacts to the player in a variety of ways.
Sounds really good, man. Sounds very competitive with some of the best in this genre. Looking forward to it. It's called Saints Row. Chris, thank you very much.
Welcome back to X-Play.
Grand Theft Auto 3. This inspired many clones. Some are more culturally sensitive than others.
Our next game, well, it's not so much with the sensitivity.
Here's a review of Total Overdose.
Hola, chica guapa. I'm looking for Marco, alias the Rat.
Oh, Cruz, don't pretend we never met.
Mexico. I remember my first visit to Mexico, 1997. She was a young senorita from Tijuana. We shared a lifetime in 45 minutes. I loved her, and I still have the infection to prove it. Good times. Good times. Hey, if you think that was offensive, you haven't seen Total Overdose, A Gunslinger's Tale in Mexico. Let's get right to it. Uno, dos, tres, catorce. Piñata boom boom. Any similarities to Grand Theft Auto or any other game for the past 10 years is purely intentional. The dictionary lists derivative as copied or adapted from others. Let's explore that in Total Overdose. An injured secret operative can't continue his undercover work, so because it's never been done, he gets his twin brother to take over. Sounds like that Chris Rock movie, America Ignored. Speaking of movie cliches...
Everybody be cool. This is a robbery. I'll be back.
Oh, Jesus. This isn't a movie, you know.
Feeling lucky, punk? I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse.
We'll leave it to you to find any Scarface references we may have missed.
Is that the best you can do?
Anywho, the adventures will take the Cruz brothers all around Mexico. From the red light district, to the junkyards, to that scene from Grease. To the meat lockers.
Oh, this is the man I keep hearing about, huh?
Does that count as a Rocky reference? And, of course, to the shipyards. It just screams Mexico, don't it? When you're tired of running through America's next-door neighbor, gunning down the local citizenry, why not find a random car and steal it? Never seen that one before. Along the way, we'll meet all types of people. And by all types, I mean stereotypes. There's the drug dealer, the fat guy in the Speedo, an angel, but she don't look like no David Boreanaz I've ever seen.
She's too hot for gringos.
And now, the top 5 stereotypes from Total Overdose, A Gunslinger's Tale in Mexico. Number 5. Number 4.
You drive. I got too many tequilas on me.
Number 3. Number 2. And number 1.
El Mariachi.
Somewhere, Robert Rodriguez is having his 8-year-old kid write him another movie. And if you know Mexico like Total Overdose knows Mexico, you know there's lots of ramps all over the city. That's how they get across the border. Fellow gringos, this game is not difficult to figure out. Not a lot of skill involved. Even when you die, you can come back. But it's kind of fun, in a guilty pleasure lucha wrestling sort of way.
Spicy.
Give it a rental. We give it Tres Vida Locas out of Cinco. And don't forget to bring your guitars.
Wow, a totally generic, totally average Grand Theft Auto clone.
It's Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
Welcome back to X-Play. Now, in just a few minutes, we have the exclusive first look trailer of creepy sci-fi shooter Prey for the Xbox 360.
Right now, it's a game that wowed us at E3 2005, and it's finally in our sweaty little hands.
My hands aren't sweaty. Here's our preview of Okami. Every now and again, a game comes along that shows true promise. A game that defines the words innovation, beauty, and creativity. A game that has us trade in sarcasm for a soapbox. This game is Okami for the PS2. Despite the fact that the demo we received was completely in Japanese and we have no clue what the story is, we still couldn't put the damn thing down. In Okami, you play as a goddess who has taken the form of a white wolf. You are also accompanied by a bright, bouncing bug that agrees to help you in exchange for not being eaten. The world is in dark turmoil, and it's up to you to bring the color and light back to the land. And how do you go about this daunting task, you may ask?
Well, the main gameplay mechanic is drawing. In your face, Nintendo DS, when prompted, you press the R1 button to turn the screen into a piece of paper. Then you use a variety of strokes to administer various effects. Can't cross a chasm? Draw a bridge. Trees and boulders in the way? Use a diagonal slash to cut them down to size. If companionship from constellations is what you seek, then you can trace the stars and bring them to life. And when things get extra gloomy, you can even draw a massive circle in the sky to bring forth the sun. Ah, happy trees! Bob Ross would be proud. But the game isn't only about wielding your celestial brush. You can beat up enemies the old-fashioned way by means of nose-first charges and a furious drop step. But the brush does come in handy to initiate a final razor-sharp blow during battle. As you travel through the beautiful landscape, you come across many different people. These folks have different chores that they can't get done for one reason or another. As a goddess, you are the superintendent to this apartment Earth, so you help your tenants through such dreadful tasks like laundry, turning the water back on, and giving people a lift. But just make sure people want to be helped first. Hey, that's no way to treat a goddess. The graphics can be described in 3 words: gorgeous, gorgeous, and gorgeous. The developers have taken the art of cell shading to the next level, giving the title a very soothing, organic appearance, like a Japanese watercolor painting. Just watching the wolf run through the grass is enough to put anyone in a state of tranquil bliss. When we first saw this game at E3, our jaws made themselves comfortable on the floor. Now, after playing the demo, they've taken up permanent residence. Okami gives you layer upon layer of beauty, while keeping the gameplay equally captivating. We can't wait to get our hands on the full version of this game, but since it isn't even released in Japan yet, it looks like we're gonna have to. Damn it. We'll give you a full review when the game is released in the spring of 2006.
And Deal or No Deal, I accidentally stumbled across the late night news. Okay.
What?
Yeah, the news, the important events for the day, not the feed.
Like the
crap that like the commenters
the Ted
think about.
Koppel
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and whenever you watch the news, there's always a sensational story, it seems lately, about MySpace.
Oh, yes. MySpace is to blame for kids running wild.
Everything. It's the new Grand Theft Auto. It's like people are getting caught with guns on it. Oh, there's underage people drinking, and there's, oh, someone was smoking the Chiba. Watch out, Auntie Ann.
On MySpace.
On MySpace.
Because of MySpace.
They're like, oh, people are getting stalked by predators on MySpace. There's 60-year-olds diddling your teenagers. And it's like, yes, of course. Don't ruin their fun.
No.
They always want to sensationalize it. It's always, Rico Suave with his haircut for the local iNews team, with the slick back hair and getting his daytime Peabody Award. And
I mean, the thing is that there's just too many people on MySpace, and it's hard to control.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah, and so it's rife for these stories of it's ruining our youth, yada, yada. We're tired of it. And we realize that the technology is popular, and we still love MySpace. Don't get me wrong.
In theory, it's a great, fun tool. It's gotten you lots of dates.
I just added my 20,597th friend. Thank you. Thank you.
Jeez. Pays to be on television, right?
Yeah, Chuck and I are good friends now. He wants in my top 8, but it's not happening unless he gets naked. Look, we like the functionality of MySpace. We get it. We understand why it was important at first, but we don't want to deal with all the animated GIFs and embedded movies and the messages from the 13-year-old boys.
No. MySpace,
save for you,
you are officially uncool.
Yeah, a little bit. So there's some other options, okay? There's LinkedIn, for example, which is more for professionals.
That's right.
You can post your resumes. You can search by the industry that you're involved in. And it's helpful if you want to do some networking, but you don't want coworkers to see those photos of you, topless and drunk at the Christmas party.
Sure, it's more for getting jobs, keeping in touch with people who maybe you used to work with, and finding out who colleagues of theirs are, and keeping yourself employed.
Right.
And a little social network.
Sure, hopefully at some point you'll get drunk and topless with the people that you meet on LinkedIn, but that's not the sole purpose.
I mean, yeah.
It's there.
Date at the workplace.
It's the smartest thing you can do. There's also Tag World, which is much more customizable than MySpace. It's a Web 2.0 app, so it's super clean. You can tag absolutely everything, and to design the layout, you literally drag and drop containers and stuff like that. There's applications to design your site a lot nicer.
So not only is it easy to use, but it makes MySpace look like, I don't know.
It's like, instead of using, you load up Tom's MySpace editor and you turn your text into 3D and sparkly and crash people's Firefox. That's the MySpace approach. This one is a little bit cleaner, a little nicer, and you can build an entire website, not just one page.
Because the problem with MySpace is that you've got the page,
right,
and it's a big mess anyway.
Right.
I have no idea how people can look at some of the stuff. But that's all you really have.
Yeah,
you have a couple links.
You have a blog, but it looks nothing like your main page.
You don't have your own website.
Exactly. So you've got that there. It's a different feel. You can even buy and sell items in the classifieds.
I like it.
We dig it. Now, the one I want to tell you all about that I'm very excited about, it's something that I've been using a lot recently. It's called Yelp.
And Yelp, I'm not familiar with, so you're just going to have to take me on a little test drive.
There's a lot to it, so I'm going to do my best to give you a quick demo, and I think everybody at home should sign up immediately. It's basically like a community-driven city search, if you will. So I put in Los Angeles, California. I said, let's search for sushi. It's popped up with a list of results, places that have been tagged under the category of, Japanese food.
There.
Yeah. Category matches are Japanese, yada, yada. For some reason, nail salons, but hey, not everything's perfect. But let's click on the Sushi Roku. It'll load it up. You'll get pictures of the restaurant. You'll get pictures of the food that they provide. You can get their address, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, so I see. Not only do people give reviews, but then you can click on the person who gave the review and see more about them.
That's where the social aspect comes in.
That.
So check this out. You got your Google Maps in the corner. Click and drag. Nice and nice. Move on down. Look, Jessica S. gave it 5 stars. I want to give
Jessica S. is kind of cute.
I'm giving Jessica S. 4 stars based off the thumbnail. Let's see a closer look. You click, you get her reviews, you see her friends.
Where she's going so you can stalk her?
Yeah, and you can even see lists, which are really sweet things that people put together. Like, for example, the top 10 things to do if you're in West Hollywood, other than go to a bar where Sarah Lane's at, Or if you need a quick gift, click here. These are my top 10 places where you can get somebody something cool.
So this is really the kind of social networking site where it's very helpful where you're from.
Exactly.
Because the people around you can really help you have a better IRL.
Regional and functional, Sarah. That's why we like it. Hey, everybody, we're taking your chat, so take a
2-disc collector's edition.
Of course, now, Walk the Line probably going to walk away with some Oscars this weekend.
One would think. That's the buzz.
Oddly, like a lot of people, I do not like country music. Yet I love this movie.
I don't either.
Yeah,
and I loved it. I thought it was very
fantastic film.
Fantastic.
And Joaquin Phoenix is amazing in this. So is Reese Witherspoon. James Mangold, the director, really put his heart and soul into this thing.
They both sang.
Yeah, they both
it's really
sang.
them, which is very commendable.
Amazing, and lots of extras. I mean, they really took a lot of time with this. I mean, the first disc, of course, has commentary by James Mangold, and then the second disc is packed with a lot of behind the scenes, not just about the movie, but about Johnny Cash himself. I mean, really have an appreciation for his music. And they even did extended performances. In the movie, you only get to see part of the musical numbers.
Sure.
And on the second disc, they actually show the entire musical number play out, which is kind of unique for I wouldn't describe it as a deleted scene, but it's like, hey, we get to see the entire musical.
It's more of a music video.
Music video, yeah, in a way, yeah.
Beginning to end.
Yeah, I mean, plus the fact that there's these really kick-ass postcards that it comes with and little extras.
So
I love the little
tons of
collector
extras.
stuff. Tons of extras, great package, also great design, good movie. It's a buy.
Yay!
It's definitely a buy.
Good. All right, so you mentioned the Oscars on Sunday.
Yes,
I, too, am very excited. I sit there with 2 tubs of ice cream and I don't move for 4 hours.
Yeah.
But I want to know what your Oscar picks are because, Chris, you are a little bit more informed about movies.
Every year the Independent Games Festival awards the best indie game developers with some hefty cash prizes. So we decided that we would take a closer look at some of the finalists in the first-person shooter genre for this year's competition. So we're going to start things off with this year's Unreal Tournament 2004 mods. Basically, if you don't own this game, you're not a PC gamer. So it's kind of important. Pay attention. First up, it's The Awakening. Now, this is a third-person co-op and multiplayer game. Pretty sweet. The controls, though, are a bit on the lame side. I'll get to that in a second. But you play as civilians that are taking on hordes and hordes of enemies, zombies, if you will, while looking for possible escape routes in the city. Pretty sweet the way it walks you through your objectives. Find a flashlight, find a hammer, nails, get some wood boards, barricade some doors, etc. I like it. It's just the controls are way too wonky for my taste, and they never go first person, which makes shooting a little on the tedious side. But next up, we have something that is everybody's got to download it right away, I'm telling you, even if you don't pay attention to me. It's called Hamster Bash. Feel free to start your downloads, kids. Very simple concept. You're a hamster in a plastic ball, and your object is to wreck everything in sight. You see point values assigned to things throughout homes and gardens and playgrounds and schools, etc. And you have to knock into plasma TVs and knock over trash cans. And there's also other enemy hamsters that you need to take out as well by rolling over them when they get out of their ball, as you see there, or by taking them out by stomping on their ball as well. But it's really sweet the way it's all about points as well as it's all about destruction. So you can hop out of your ball to eat little corn nuts and carrots. Overall, a lot of fun, very cool looking, my favorite of the bunch. Next up, we have Path of Vengeance. Now, this is a third-person action RPG that takes place in ancient China. And it's pretty authentic, man. The story is epic, and the cutscenes are even in Mandarin, but don't worry, they're subtitled in English, so relax. But you're going to be battling demons and would-be kings. Again, it's a problem that happens with these independent games. The combat system is just a bit unbalanced. The button combos for special attacks are a little on the tedious and lame side, but kudos for attempting the epic storyline. I give them that. Now, here's a look at the Doom 3 mod, Last Man Standing. This is a co-op mod as well as a single-player mod. Now, the single-player side of things is a little bit on the Serious Sam side, which means tiny room filled with a bunch of enemies. You move on, room gets a little bit bigger. Oh, look, a whole bunch more enemies coming at you. The multiplayer side of things is more the same, but the levels are designed a little bit better. And I got to give it up to the heavy metal soundtrack. It will kick you in the taint repeatedly, or the Grendel, if you will. They're both there. Finally, a look at a few of the Half-Life 2 mod finalists. Half-Life 2, of course, one of the biggest first-person shooters ever. Now, this one, Dystopia, is our first one. It's a cyberpunk-themed total conversion, which means pretty much everything has changed in the game. Teams basically defend their decker, which is a person that hacks into systems that try and control the level. But it's really all about neuroimplants, big guns, and hacking. So when I played this one, I selected, there's light, medium, and heavy. I went with medium armor. I built a character with some assault rifles. And then you get to choose your body mod. So I chose one that would let me hear, sounds that my enemies were making on a radar, visually, as well as silence my own noises and repair enemies nearby. It's got a great user interface, which lets you select your enhancements. Really nice and easy. Very, very well-polished mod. And then finally, there's Dodgeball Source. We've talked about it on the show before, but this one essentially is, it's dodgeball, my friends. You know how to play it. You pick up a ball, you throw it, you can block, you can catch your opponent's balls. But there's a new feature to it now that allows you to trade experience points gained during gameplay to, as you can see there, throw a dodgeball with a ticking time bomb on it. You can also slow opponents down with special green balls. Again, these are all independent games, so you got to love them regardless, and they're all free. And that's all you get for now, my friends. Winners will be announced March 22nd at the 2006 Game Developers Conference. Losers, on the other hand, will be mauled by bears. I know it's sad, but it's true. For links to all the games you just saw, check our website. Make sure you check out igf.com for even more information. But now, like Space Contender. Very excited about last night, and I wanted to talk to you and the folks at home about it, if you don't mind.
Let's hear it, Kev.
Well, Waxy is a blog that we like. We go there a lot. And Waxy just picked up on a post from the Something Awful forums about a buried video game treasure. It's an unreleased Penn and Teller game for the Sega CD. Yeah.
This is something that even gamers may never have seen or heard of.
Most of them haven't. Yeah, the company went under, and someone from, I believe, Lost Levels got a disc, and they posted a whole review, and they released the game online. It looks like a standard side-scroller, I know that, but it's extremely weird, as you probably expect from Penn and Teller. You collect cockroaches to sell to movie producers for cash.
Is that some sort of a statement about Hollywood?
It's got to be somewhere in there. And every store clerk in the game is played by Debbie Harry from Blondie.
Okay. I mean,
getting better.
It could be worse.
You can even hire stunt doubles who actually look nothing like you. They have bright blonde hair, and they're like thin, and they jump, and they do tumbles and kung fu kicks. But when they're done fighting for you, you have to sit through a 2-minute unskippable movie of Penn and Teller eating pizza.
Wow.
I love it. I love it. I so much it was out. It gets better, I promise.
It does?
Yeah, one more thing I have to tell you about. I was so excited when I read this. The game has a great mini game. It's called Desert Bus. And you drive a bus from Tucson to Las Vegas in real time.
In real lifetime?
Yeah.
Like it took all day?
It's going to take you 8 hours to complete this game.
And you pass through tumbleweed
Desert. It gets better. The bus will not go over 45 miles an hour, and it veers slightly to the right, so you can't just tape the controller down.
Oh,
you actually have to drive it. There's no other cars on the road. There's bus stops where you stop, you'll open the doors, and no one will get on. And 8 hours to get to your spot, you get 1 point, and then they want you to drive it all the way back for another point.
Curiously enough, it kind of sounds like something I'd want to do.
Totally. You pass the old water pipe around and sit down and drive the bus.
I don't understand that.
Brilliant.
Water pipe.
We're going to have links to the torrent on our website. Go download it. Run a Sega CD emulator if you have to. It's awesome.
Kevin, what's also cool? News.
Sports calendar's thinner than Nicole Richie after a bout of dysentery. But that hasn't stopped the resident odds maker from putting his handicapping talents to use. Joining us live from Hollywood with his picks for this weekend's Academy Awards, it's Jimmy the Geek. Jimmy, how are you, my friend?
Break out the fake breath and pour me a latte. I'm in Hollywood, baby.
That you are. I see you've gone with the old tux for the occasion.
That's right, Brandy. The last time I saw this jacket, my prom date was using it as a headrest in the backseat of my Chevelle. I'm talking about memories, baby.
I'll bet. Jimmy, I thought you'd be a little closer to the Kodak Theater for tonight's segment, though.
Yeah, you know what? Me too, Brandy. Turns out getting access to the red carpet area is tougher than trying to pleasure a freaking bobcat.
Gonna have to take your word on that one. Jimmy, what do you got for us?
All right, let's talk Oscars, baby. Kicking things off with the easy stuff first. Billy Hoffman winning Best Actor in a complete cakewalk. He nailed Capote like I nailed that wannabe actress last night with complete and total ease. I mean, I don't even look like Ang Lee, and she still bought it. Speaking of which, put a C-note on him to win Best Director. If it were gay cowgirls instead of cowboys, I'd put it on my all-time top 5, baby. And Clooney upsets Giamatti for Best Supporting. The Academy rewards him for his body of work this year and tells the more deserving G-Man to go F himself.
Jimmy, as always, telling it like it is. What else?
All right, let's talk women now, baby. Best Actress is a tough call. The chick who does her own singing versus the gender bender. It's a complete toss-up, Brandy. And when that happens, I go with the one I want to bang more. Now it's all of a sudden, it's completely easy. Reese Witherspoon, and that's a lock on both counts, baby.
Reese and a lock. Moving on.
All right. It doesn't get any easier, Brandy, than Best Supporting. It's a 3-horse race, and if I were a jockey, I'd bring the whip down hard on Rachel Weisz in the backstretch. Look for the Academy to do the same. She wins this one by a nose.
Bringing it back to a sports analogy, I hope. How about Best Picture, Jimmy?
All right, Brandy. With Lee already holding gold, there's no need to reward a bunch of kids for playing cowboy here. Crash has the script, the cast, and Matt Dillon saving someone from burning alive. So for my money, to be honest, the first time he did it on screen was a bit more memorable, babe.
Jimmy, you have done it again, my friend. A full Oscar rundown and a nod to The Outsiders, if I'm not mistaken.
Stay gold, baby. Stay gold.
That's Jimmy the Geek, live from Hollywood, California. Stick around. We have a section
to his, you know,
his area, his member.
Now he says when he scratches his ass, he gets an erection.
That's phenomenal. For more reasons than one, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I want to talk about your book real quick. Because this is great. Snake Oil. You reveal the secrets of the magicians, the hustlers, the con artists, the carnies. They're all one and the same.
Yeah.
Are you upset that you're giving away all the secrets? Are you glad that people finally have the knowledge, or that they're armed with it?
I wrote that so that you could be dropped off in any city, anywhere in the world, not be able to speak the language, and make money immediately. It shows you how to hustle. Everybody talks about a street education. That guy's got street smarts. Well, you got to go through a lot of do's, and it's painful to get that kind of education. Now you don't have to go through that process. You just pick up the book Snake Oil, and you'll know what it all means.
I agree. I love it. It's a great read from front to back. And
you were telling me that earlier.
It really is. I don't BS. I don't do it. Now, I made a joke about a family show earlier, but this is a bit of a family show for you. You have your wife involved as well, and she's standing over there with some sort of interesting apparatus. She's going to give us a special performance.
Yeah, we're going to do a freeze-dried freak. Let's come on over here,
Kevin. So this is BB the Circus Queen standing with...
Yeah, that's my wife.
Okay.
That's my wife.
How you doing, BB?
And
this looks
what I'm going to do...
inviting.
Yeah, I'm going to suck the air out of this with a... Hey, actually, get down... Kevin, get in here.
No, actually, I think we're good, Jim. This looks great.
I know you're supposed to rehearse this stuff ahead of time, but I'll make sure that... Get in. Just get in.
Okay. What is going to happen
here? I should have
told
the producer, but
is
whatever.
No, this is great.
Are you sure?
We're not... Oh, no.
Okay, now sit down in there, Kevin.
No,
get in there.
Vacuum packing is something you do to, like, turkey after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I know, man. You're going to be a freeze-dried freak when I'm through with you.
All right, wait. This is safe, right, BB?
I'll tell you what. I wouldn't call it safe. As a matter of fact, this is a good opportunity to say, don't try this at home.
Okay, don't try this live on television. How about that?
With Kevin.
BB, a pleasure to meet you, by the way. It's Mitchum, just so you know, last 2 days. All right. Jim, what's going to happen now?
Well, I'm going to start sucking the air out of this.
Okay. Yes, he is.
And I'm going to see how long you can stay in there, see if I can suck the brains out of your ears. We're going to turn blue for you, G4. Blue for you. How long can Kevin stay in there? I think he's turning into a lesbian.
5, 4, 13, 13, 13. I've lost count. How long can you stay in there? How long? All right, I'll let you out. I'll let you out. You all right? You okay? You all right? Hey, Kev. Yeah, hey, what's up, dude? Yeah. Woo! I found Jesus. Thank you for that.
Hey, dude.
He was in there.
It is dude, right?
Jim, yeah.
You said my wife looks like Jesus, huh?
Yeah, she did. Phoebe, thank you for that. That was great. Jim, I'm now officially afraid of you, my friend. Thank you.
You're officially in the Jim Rose Circus.
Everybody, to find out more about when the circus is headed to your town, you can head on over to JimRoseCircus.com and pick up Jim's latest book. It is Snake Oil, where Jim will reveal all the secrets of the carnies, magicians, psychics, and hustlers. I promise you, it's a fascinating read. You'll never pay for a drink again. Thanks, guys.
Hey, thanks
that was
again,
great.
Kevin.
Let me catch my breath. Now, with the wind beneath my wings, her name is Sarah Lane, and she's here with today's top story. She has saved the world from total annihilation. She's fought off hordes of flesh-eating creatures, and now she's taking on a ruthless government. In the new sci-fi film Ultraviolet, I don't think I need to say any more, ladies and gentlemen. Mila Jovovich is here. Mila, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, come here.
Thank you.
I was just vacuum packed, so I'm a little frazzled.
I kind of saw the end bit of that, and I was just like,
oh, the part where I was completely out of air and dying?
Kind of, but you said it was fun. It looks good.
You know, your life flashed before your eyes, and I saw you, and this interview was coming up, and I just had to get out of the bag because I got to say, you, my friend, are a geek icon. I mean, I don't know if you're aware of this, but between Fifth Element, Resident Evil, and now Ultraviolet, you're on the same nerd pedestal as Darth Vader for most people. Yes. And is that a big deal? How does that feel to you?
It's awesome. I mean, I have to say I was a big fan of sci-fi and fantasy growing up, so I guess, I was kind of a geek too.
Ah. Now, do you understand, what is it about geeks that they like a woman who could totally kick their ass? And why is that?
The geek spurt here.
Yeah, I'm curious, because, you are appealing to them, and is it just because that, the thought that while you're beating them up, you'd actually physically be touching them? Or is there something else going on here?
Well, I don't know. You don't feel excited by thinking about a beautiful woman kind of messing you around?
I like getting roughed up by the ladies every now and then. Don't get me wrong, but
exclusive to geeks.
It's just so it's guys in general. See, that's all I know. That's all I know. Browse my MySpace. It's nothing but geeks. I want to talk about the Ultraviolet because I'm driving home from work. Your midriff is not only perfectly sculpted, but it is everywhere. It's everywhere. I'm driving down Venice Boulevard, and every billboard and bus shelter, it's just there you are with a sword, and it's added another 7.5 minutes to my commute, so thank you for that. But that aside, I'm sold. Just the poster with, the midriff and the sword, I'm sold.
Well, listen, it wasn't easy, let me tell you. I mean, I had 7 months of training to get ready for this film. That was before the real training in China started, because I went in to meet the choreographer 6-7 months before we went to film the movie. And I was so inspired by the team of people that he had prepared for me, and I just started learning things immediately. Sure. And they gave me some sticks to take home and a sword, and I was practicing for 6 months, and then we went 3 months in China, rehearsing 6 to 8 hour days and stuff. But we started the rehearsals way before.
Well, I know that they gave you sticks and a sword, and I was told that you kind of went crazy in the hotel room and trashed it like a rock star. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing missing was the parties, but it definitely looked like a rock star's hotel room. I mean, there was light shattered, there was chunks missing out of the ceiling, because I do all these I flip swords and stuff, so it would just be dash, dash, dash. So they weren't very happy with it.
Yeah, Motel 6 is never going to leave the light on for you anymore.
Who?
The motel chain. Listen, there's a plot to this movie, and this is what
I do.
This is a big deal here because, like I said, the poster was fascinating enough, but there's a plot to this movie, and I want to know what it is. Because you're fighting people, and who are you fighting and why?
Well, listen, it's actually a really cool story. It's about my character Violet, who is part of a revolutionary team, of rebels that are trying to bring down this future totalitarian government. And through it, she meets this kid, and he's very sick and he's dying, and she has to make a choice whether to complete her mission of bringing down the government or save the life of this one little boy. So it's a cool story.
Wouldn't it have just been more convenient to just take him out with the sword and then get on with the mission, or?
Take who out?
The little boy. No.
Wait,
I'm just saying.
They told me this was a nice sort of young people's channel.
Oh yeah, totally.
What is this about? Taking out little boys.
The tweens don't like the infants. Get rid of them. Now you're doing all the sword trickery, and
he actually taught me how to hack into computer games. Cameron, the actor that plays the little boy, he's rad.
He's like teaching you all the Doom cheat codes for God mode.
It's like all these like different words that you type in, and then you get more soldiers or more gold or something.
I love it.
It's really cool.
I love it. Now you brought a clip with you as well, and I want to show it. What are we about to see? I'm assuming it involves you kicking some ass.
Yes.
Okay.
It's actually like right at the beginning of the movie. This is Violet's first major fight scene, so it's pretty cool.
All right, pretty intense. Here it is, a scene from Ultraviolet. So apparently, a glass does not make the best chest protector. We learn in the future. Maybe they should stick with Kevlar.
Listen, this is not just glass. It's the special like armor of the future. But Violet is so rad that she just breaks through it.
Gotcha.
It's unbreakable.
No match for it. Apparently, the camera and the director aren't any match for Violet as well. Everybody was getting hurt on it.
No, I destroyed everything. My hotel room, like that scene where you see the thing fly off of the gun. That wasn't supposed to happen, but I aimed it really well, so it like hit the camera and broke the camera lens. Then, you know, the director like comes up to me like, "Oh, let's see what you learned. Let's see what you learned in fight class. Ooh!" And he's like, "Come on, punch me." So I was like, "All right." I punched him. It's like, "Oh yeah,
please,
whatever."
Is that all you got?
Blah blah blah. So I punched him again. He's like, "Yeah, whatever." Right. So I just like went, bah! You know, and sorry.
No, I thought that the wind there was wind out there. I'm easily startled, Mila. That was crazy.
No. I knew what I was doing. I wasn't trying to hurt you.
Okay. You want to take a shot though? Really? We're out of time, but it'd be a great way to end it.
Don't do this to yourself.
I'm not going to. How about I just gingerly shake your hand and thank you for coming on the show? I'm a little. No? Is that all right, Mila?
Yes, of course.
Thank you very much
Thank
for coming
you.
on. We appreciate it. Everybody, to watch Mila kick some ass and take some names, go see Ultraviolet. It's in theaters everywhere this Friday, and enjoy the billboards while they last. Coming up after the break, I stage dive into a crowd of gangly interns when Cage 9 performs live, so stick around, everybody.
Can never compete with the Rhode Island School of Design NAS.